Okay. Okay, we have lots of people.
Here, you can just hit this button when you
All right.
Oh, yeah?
Hi. If anybody else wants to speak, please put your name down. 6:30. Okay. I'm just gonna wait till people settle down.
Need your gavel.
I know. I do need my gavel.
Might as well put it to good use.
Huh?
Might as well put it to good use.
Yeah, I'll just do this.
I'll go get it for you. Say good evening.
Good evening and welcome to the September 2nd Belchertown Select Board meeting. We will stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can I please call the school committee meeting to order?
Yeah, I'll call the finance committee meeting to order at 6:30.
Okay, great. If I could have thank you. And if you haven't signed in, please sign in and welcome. Okay, we have two speakers tonight. We'll start, so this is the public comment period. I'm opening that up now, and the first speaker is Dorothy Creswell.
Thank you, and I'm inviting Dusty to come. Where do you want to stand?
Just come on up.
Okay, address you or address them, or how does this?
Address us.
Okay, sure. My name is Dorothy Creswell, and this is Dusty Miller. And we are bringing this resolution in support of democracy and constitutional principles. In 2 weeks, September 17th, it will be Constitution Day. When elected officials are sworn into office, they pledge to defend and protect the Constitution. In the past 7 months, our elected officials have failed to do this, and we are on the verge of losing our democracy to an authoritarian takeover. But towns and cities are working to preserve our Constitution and our country. This resolution has already been adopted by Boston and by Amherst, and is being brought to other towns and cities now. The hope is that as more and more towns take a bold stand, that we will be able to turn the tide back to a government that works for all of us. It is not a constitution just for Democrats or just for Republicans. This is not a right or left issue, not a conservative or progressive issue. So let's not fall into that trap, which divides and weakens us. This is the common ground that we all rely on. We all need our public schools and hospitals and Social Security and Medicare and FEMA. And unless our ancestors were Native Americans or Mexican Americans, we are all immigrants or descendants of immigrants. The current administration's attack on immigrants is immoral and will cripple our country if it is allowed to continue. We start every meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance, which ends with the all-inclusive words, with liberty and justice for all. With the practice of using our military to police our streets and funding ICE to entrap and kidnap people with no explanation or hope of defense, our government is not protecting liberty and justice for all. We cannot be complacent. We cannot go along with this misuse of elected positions. We do not want an authoritarian takeover. We want the democracy we all pledge allegiance to. We all want the checks and balances that have steered our country from since its birth, where there is accountability and responsibility to serve everyone. So many have fought and died for democracy, many from Belchertown. It is time to push back and to speak up in whatever ways we can. Our impact will grow if more and more towns take a stand. They cannot ignore us if we are many. We are only trying to save what we love. We urge you to take a stand for the citizens of Belchertown, for all of us. One nation under God, indivisible. That's
Yes.
with liberty. Can I go with
Yes.
with liberty and justice for all. If we just remain silent, then we are part of the problem. But if we come together and unite in a clear, strong resolution, then we can be part of the solution. We can save our public schools, our emergency services and healthcare, and our workers who we honored yesterday on Labor Day.
Thank you. And now we'll hear from Jim Barry.
Good evening. I'm Jim Barry from Shea Avenue. I'm here to speak in support of the resolution that my friend has just presented to you. I know you haven't had a chance to read it. It's very simple. It's very clear about protecting the Constitution, which even John Roberts says is in danger of being stretched to the point of being snapped. There's always been some concern, should select boards be involved in national politics? Should select boards be speaking for the whole town on matters of politics? And as Dorothy points out, this is not politics. This is not right versus left. This is not good versus evil. This is our Constitution. And whether we should be involved with it, whether you should be involved with it, is very similar to when we take a stand on Gay Pride Month or on protecting children, and we pass resolutions and we raise the flag because it speaks to who we are as a community, where we are, where our heart is, where our children are, where our grandchildren are. I just want to leave you with a story of a man who was protesting in Washington, D.C. day after day after day during the Iraq War. He held a sign that said, "Bring our troops home." He was there every single day, and eventually someone stuck a microphone in his face and says, "Why are you doing this? Do you really think you're going to change anything? Do you think you're going to change them?" And he said, "I'm not here to change them. I'm here so they don't change me." Please support this resolution on behalf of the whole town. Thank you.
Thank you. And if that's it, I'm going to close public comment and ask if there are any documents to be signed.
Not yet, no.
No? Okay. There are no additions to the agenda, and so with that, I'll kick this over to you, Steve, for appointments.
Just 1 second. So first up, we have Brian Maroney and Luis Levy filling in for our recreation director and supporting presentation for Lake Wallace Fall Fest and Trail Race. I'm not sure if we lost them in the crowd, but
And you know what? I'm sorry. I was distracted because there were people coming in and out. If you could start again, and this time, we're all paying attention.
they're here.
Okay.
Louise is here.
Okay, is Brian coming?
Rumor has it. He's not here yet. He's not here yet.
Oh, okay.
He might be pulling in.
So do you want to move on to
There's a second.
discussion action item first?
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, he's running.
How
it
about
now.
the one-day liquor license?
Sure. So we have a request from McCarthy's Pubs to have a one-day liquor license for the fair weekend that's coming up on beginning September 19th. This is a tradition for them. They put up a tent and they serve alcohol outside. We usually have some entertainment, and so been part of the fair for quite a while. We haven't had any issues
Do I hear a motion?
I move we approve the one-day liquor license for McCarthy's Pub for Fair Weekend, September 18th through the 20th, 2025.
I second it.
Further discussion?
I'm just, do we say it's a one day if it's not a one day? Should we put the hours in the
It's
motion?
technically,
It's
or
like
three.
three-
licenses.
Right.
The vote is fine.
I'm just wondering if we.
If we
Well,
should
that's why I added the date in.
Yeah.
the
The
dates.
dates and the hours, maybe.
I think that's,
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
I don't have I have the dates. Do we have the hours?
3 to 12 a.m.
3 p.m. to 12 a.m.
Yeah, September 18th through the 20th.
Okay. I move we approve the one-day liquor license for McCarthy's Pub for Fair Weekend from 3 p.m. to 12 p.m. each day, running September 18th through the 20th, 2025.
Do I
Second.
hear a second? All in favor?
Do we need to add it to 12 a.m.?
12 a.m.
Did I,
Say 12 a.m.
did I
Didn't you
not say that?
that?
Let me
You
do it
said
again.
I'd say
Third.
p.m., but
I move we approve the one-day liquor license for McCarthy's Pub for Fair Weekend from 3 p.m. to 12 a.m. each day, running September 18th through the 20th, 2025.
That's beautiful.
I
Second.
second it.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Is Brian here now?
yes.
Okay, so we have Luis Levy and Brian Maroney here tonight to present the Fall Fest activities that are going to take place at Foley Field.
Hey, everybody. Just came to present to the select board our Lake Wallace Fall Fest that's happening on October 4th. I actually put up all my flyers today, so I'm all out. But in collaboration with the rec department, we're having Lake Wallace Fall Fest, first annual festival out at Lake Wallace in the Foley Field in the new recreation area out there, to show off all of the new trails, the new trails, new features, new signage, all the new things that we're bringing out there, and to raise money for the Lake Wallace area and keep providing updates to the space, repairs to the existing stuff, adding new features, new benches, new things. So we're gonna have on October 4th, 5K trail race, 1 mile fun run race, and then a roll and stroll to guide people around for a guided tour of the new trails and new trail system that's there, and talk about the next phases that are continuing to happen at Lake Wallace, and expand upon the area and give the rec department some fun events to have throughout the year. So we're looking forward to as many people as we can get to come out and run the race. Everything that's happening there is a fundraiser. We're trying to bring in money for Lake Wallace especially, and we're gonna have vendor partners and community partners there to have educational booths, sell some wares. We're gonna have food trucks after, we'll have some bands after, and again, all to bring money into Lake Wallace, show people a resource of the town, and make plans for the future and keep doing fun stuff in town.
That's great.
16 years ago, there was the EDIC gifted the land there to the town and then to the schools to do something great with. So we've been doing great things over there for about 16 years at Lake Wallace, and people would say, where? And I would describe it, and they would say, oh, the swamp behind the police station. And that's how Lake Wallace was known 16 years ago. So it's delightful to know that now it is, Lake Wallace is a recognized destination for birders and photographers, and increasingly for people of all abilities to use the space for outdoor recreation, which is so very important. And as Brian was saying, this is a fundraiser. The funds are going to go into the rec department gift fund. And then that way, the Friends of Lake Wallace will be able to respond more quickly when damage happens on the trail, to be able to fix it. And then, who knows if there's more funds that get raised, that as Brian said, there could be signage and other things and activities and some even more interesting and engaging things. The Lake Wallace area is one of the major reasons that Christopher Heights decided to site their 6th facility in Belchertown, because the trail was being developed, and it's a lovely area. It's very biodiverse. It's also really serene. You can go over into the area and not get swarmed by mosquitoes for all sorts of reasons that I could bore you with extensively. And we want to invite more people to join the Friends of the Trail, to adopt sections of the trail to help do light maintenance on it over the course of years, and then also to have an opportunity to invite more people and more groups over to the to use this resource, because it really is quite the gem.
I've heard tell that you can sponsor. And so can you tell us about sponsorship opportunities?
Yeah, so the Fall Fest is open for sponsors, right? So through the rec department, we're accepting sponsors of all sorts. At the lowest level, if anybody wants to donate as an individual person or sponsor, you know, as a family or anything like that, we have all sorts of tiers of sponsorships. We're also looking for businesses to sponsor the event. We have, again, a couple of tiers of sponsorship, getting on the shirts or the signage that we'll have out, all the way up to getting on the start or the finish line signs for the 5K race, or the mile marker signs that'll be out on the course, or out throughout the vendor space. We'll have signage, and sponsors will have an opportunity there. We've collected, I think we have 10 or 12 individual sponsors right now, not including our vendor tents that are some of our Belchertown standard vendors that come out to all of our events, as well as some out-of-town vendors come in, and a couple of food vendors sign up. So yep, we're open to sponsors. And then essentially signing up for any of the races is another way to sponsor. That's fundraising. All of the money goes to the event. We're getting shirts for the runners, so all 3 divisions of runners will get a t-shirt and a little swag bag, but every dollar past that shirt will go to raising funds for it. But yep, we're open to sponsors, and that's the rec department as a whole right now. We're open to sponsors in any way, shape, or form, but specifically Fall Fest, we can we'll have signs up on the course, signs up throughout the fields, and yeah, we're open. We're open to any conversation, and anybody that wants to do that can email recreation@belchertown.org, and they'll forward that email along to our volunteer team.
Perfect. Any other questions?
Also, volunteers, if there's anybody who's interested in volunteering.
So folks that want to volunteer, they go through the same.
Yeah, if they go to if they start out at the rec can shuttle them around to the right people.
And I'm running.
Anybody else who wants to run, we're reaching out to all the departments to offer some spots for everybody. We've reached out to fire, we've reached out to police. We're going to try to get everybody out there to get a couple people running. So we've got about 20-25 runners signed up right now, and we could really use a couple more to make it a good event. I would run it, but I'll be out there.
Are you gonna run it? You're gonna run it, right?
We'll have over the next.
I'll run it if you run it.
All right, Steve and I are together. All right, we'll do it.
We'll have a couple of practice runs over the next couple of weeks. It's a fun course. There's about 300 feet of elevation. We go out into the Nesfee. We go on the new trail, the old trail that goes around the lake, and we have to bounce out into Nesfee land a little bit to get the 3 miles in there. So there is a fun hill over there. It's a little.
So 2 other questions. Where does everybody meet, and what are the hours again?
Yeah, so the races start at 9 a.m., so we'll have check-ins starting about 8 a.m. So the races are at 9, 10, and 10:30 or 11 for the roll and troll. So starting at 9 a.m., and the event ends at 3. The event's going to take place essentially right behind the rec center. So right in front of the skate park. We're going to be kind of in that square of area between Tadgel, the rec center, and the skate park, and possibly back into Foley a little bit more.
And it's the grand opening of the Pocket Park also.
And it's the grand opening of the Pocket Park. We'll have
The Pocket Park, there's a dedication of the new sculptural stone bench. There may be some other sculptures that are out and about that also get their dedications. And I think I'm missing something. Of course, the new bridges and overlooks. The grand opening of phases 2 and 3 of the Lake Wallace Sensory Trail, and then I think we're also probably going to have a dedication of the new dog waste stations, and I've gotten permission to perhaps have stick libraries for the pups who enjoy the trail, which I've gotten permission from the Platte Memorial Library to name them the Platte Memorial Branch Libraries. So hopefully those will also be dedications. I feel like there's
my gosh, it sounds
cute.
amazing. I hope everybody goes.
There's a lot that's happened in
Yeah.
that area just over the last year. This started 2018. The state the Trails Commission challenged us to raise $26,000 in fundraiser that was raised. They matched it with $52,000. The trail plan was off and running, and now it's topped off at over $1 million in grant monies that has gone into the construction of the trail.
That's great.
If anybody wants to find out more info, check it out on Facebook, Lake Wallace Fall Fest. There's an event page, and Facebook page is the best spot for an individual to check stuff out. You can get to registration, get to sponsorships, get to all the info. Shoot us a message on Facebook or shoot an email to recreation@belchertown.org.
Okay, with that, unless there's any other questions, thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
And 6:50 on the nose.
So our next presentation is from Joe Shea. He's the, what's the title?
Insurance director.
Insurance Director for the Hampshire County Group Insurance Trust. So he's here to answer some questions and discuss the recent financial impact of the select board. Our finance committee and school committee is also here if you missed that part.
Okay. Very good. Just to give you a quick overview of the trust, the Hampshire County Group Insurance Trust has been in existence since the 1950s in one way, shape, or form. Under its current existence, it's been in place since 1999 after the county government went away. So it's also established under 32E that allows cities and towns to come together to purchase insurance products, primarily health insurance. So the trust today is made up of 73 units. We're a self-insured entity. Self-insured means we assume all the risks and rewards. We hire Blue Cross Blue Shield to process our claims, and we use their network of doctors and their pricing that they negotiate with the healthcare facilities. We also use CVS Caremark for pharmaceutical claims as well. Again, self-insured, we collect the premium, we pay all the claims, where if premium coming in the door doesn't cover the claims going out the door, that is taken against our reserve. Over the years, the trust has been very successful. We've built up a significant reserve that we've seen eaten away over the last 2 or 3 years significantly, primarily this year in particular. This year was almost the perfect storm of claims where just from January through June on the medical side, we lost $8 million, $8 to $9 million. On the pharmacy side, we also saw those claims go up 80% over an 18-month time period. January 2024, we were paying about $1.6 million worth of pharmacy claims. By the time we get to June of this year, it's $2.9 million. And a lot of it was driven by GLP drugs. Also, we did see a spike in cancer pharmacy claims as well. And that sort of coordinated with a lot of the large claims that we saw come through the door in the second quarter of this year. So it was sort of a correlation between medical claims going up significantly and also a bump up on the pharmacy side for oncology drugs. So again, perfect storm between the pharmacy jumping significantly month over month and the medical claims. Basically, our reserves went away very, very quickly. We started the year with over $20 million in the bank, and right now we're basically running just even cash-wise. So that $20 million of cash is down to the $8 or $9 million that we collect each month. So that precipitated the emergency vote, basically, that we had in July to raise the rates. If we didn't raise the rates, we technically would be running out of cash or would be out of cash. So it was either go out of business or raise the rates. Those were the two choices that we had. And the vote at the IAC meeting was to raise the rates for 10-1. One of the other things that the group did was, this was back in May, the recommendation was to no longer cover the GLP-1 drugs just for weight loss diagnosis only. We would still cover those drugs for type 2 diabetes diagnosis. That was recommended to be implemented for July 1st. That got rejected, and instead it was going to be put into place for 10-1. That decision
doesn't allow the trust to save about $600,000 a month for 3 months, so that there was some cash flow that we would have liked to have seen during the quarter that we're currently in. That's being delayed until October 1. Likewise, we did reach out to the state on behalf of all of the units, just to see if they could provide any kind of assistance. We've met with them 3 different times, just on Zoom calls. They haven't said yes, they haven't said no. We presented all of the same material that's been presented here. They asked a lot of questions. They really don't know a whole lot about insurance, which is understandable. The last call that we were on, they had a wide array of folks. There were people from the governor's office, finance administration, Department of Insurance, and the GIC. We have another meeting set up with them for next Friday, the 12th. So I'm sure there's just going to be that many more questions as they discuss it. The one drawback with having that big group of state folks, I know Belchertown was contacted. We were sort of caught off guard. A lot of our units were contacted by the GIC over the last week to 10 days, soliciting our business. Most of our units were contacted, so I know there's meetings with the GIC that they're putting on a presentation next week. I'm not sure if that was driven by the state representatives or not. I'll find out next week. But again, it was a little disappointing to find out that the state was soliciting the trust business as well. So again, where we are today, we'll see our cash flow improve starting actually this month. We bill in advance, so the premium rate increase that does go through will start in about 10 days. And so again, premium coming in the door will improve. 10-1, the GLPs will no longer be covered, so that'll save the trust about $600,000 additionally per month going forward. And we hope, based on claims, that puts us in a better financial position from a cash flow perspective.
Do you know what July claims were, or are they starting to
Yes,
down?
July claims actually, I was asked to put together basically a cash flow for 12 months, and July pretty much came in right where we thought it would be. On the medical side, it was about a little over 6.1 million, and we had guessed a little over 6 million, so it was pretty much on target. We should receive August claims within the next day or two, actually.
We sent you a letter with very specific questions, which I pulled up because I haven't heard you address any of those yet as well.
Okay. I know I provided a couple packets of material, but I don't know if Joanne did forward them on.
Yeah, we're digging on page 6 in your packet.
It's not that. This is a public meeting. I want, if you don't mind, Mr. Shea, but if you could answer those questions.
If you could read them to me, I brought my packets,
Yeah.
but.
Since the trust's audited statements show negative cash flow from the 2022-2023 fiscal year over $12.7 million, and this revenue decline continued through December 2024 when the trust decided to drastically increase prices starting 7/1/2025 by about 20%. During this waiting period, the trust's reserves continued to lose at an increased rate, and now the trust is again raising rates, as well as discussing a contingency plan for the case in case the trust dissolves. Why did the trust wait so long, putting community employees' coverage at risk? How can our community be assured the trust will be solvent moving forward with the changes you suggest? What do these contingency plans in case of failure look like? Will they include ensuring our employees remain covered by quality health care with uninterrupted access to care? Does Belchertown now need to come up with our own contingency plans? And then why did management letters from your auditor from 2020 to 2023 mention the trust does not have a bookkeeper, nor an accounting method that tracks both income and expenses? Would better financial tools have foreseen this issue in advance of it becoming an immediate emergency?
Okay. Starting with one, which is why did the trust wait so long to act? Again, this past year, the votes that went into place in July 1st took place in January, so we have to pick a rate 6 months in advance. And when when we set those rates in July, or in January, our medical claims were spot on from July 1st, 24 through December 31st, 24. Where the medical claims that we had projected were pretty much spot on. Even the pharmacy was having an issue. Once we turned the calendar into 2025, medical claims just blew up on us. How to project that? Again, we'll take suggestions from anybody. But again, how to project medical claims despite the way they did came out of nowhere. We did do a deeper dive into what was happening. As I mentioned earlier, cancer cases spiked. It was also noted that claims over $100,000 on individuals doubled from the prior year. We had something in 43, 44 folks a year ago that had claims over $100,000. This past year, that just ended, was 87 people. So both the Blue Cross Blue Shield rep and the consultant that we use said the same thing. We've never seen something like that. We did have rate increases, so January of this year, we did vote for the 18% increase that went into effect on July 1st. The year before that, it was an 8% increase. It was recommended to be at least 10%, bare minimum. That got rejected, and 8% was voted on instead. Year prior to that was a 6% increase. So there were rate increases. We were using up some of the reserve to offset a rate increase. So again, perfect storm of claims both on the medical and pharmacy side, just running away from us this year. Question 2, community be sure the trust will remain solid moving forward. And again, it's all going to come down to claims from the vote. I mean, we're collecting X number of dollars coming in the door, and then every month it's looking at claims going out the door. We landed on 20% when we met in July. I had done a cash flow projection just showing a 10% increase, and the question came back, was 10% enough? And my answer was no. And they said come back with something that it would be reasonable. They could have picked 30% or 40%. We ended up with 20% along with the GLP change that goes into effect on 10/1. Those two items alone improve our cash flow by about $2 million a month. So we'd like to think that $2 million of positive cash flow, new positive cash flow coming in the door is going to stabilize the trust going forward.
Yeah, but if they're going to cost us money.
What contingency plans are being developed should the trust dissolve? Those are the questions that we're having with the state right now. We have told them that if the trust does go under, there's a big liability that's out there that unpaid claims that need to be covered by somebody, and that somebody right now would be each of the respective units if we run out of cash. The state reps and state senators know that. I don't think they want to see that happen. I'd like to think they're going to reach out and work with us and help us in some way, shape, or form, whether it's directly subsidizing each of the communities with this extra 20% increase or not, and/or providing any other help directly to the trust. So more to come on that. Again, if the trust does dissolve, there's going to be an issue of unpaid claims. That you have to develop your own contingency plan to protect our employees. Again, I'm not sure if you're going to put your business out to bid. I know we provided some claim information to you already. I know the GIC's reached out to you as well. So yes, I mean, should you look at your own contingency plan? Yes. We wouldn't want you to leave. I think you're one of the charter members of the trust. You've been in the trust a very, very long time. But again, I think it's your fiduciary responsibility to look at other options as well.
I'm going to exercise my authority in asking the chair of the finance committee, who's really would like to speak.
Oh, yes. So I am sorely, I'm so disappointed with how you came in here. This is a critical time for so many, and you come in like, well, we just didn't see it. Certainly, 40 years as a financial person, you saw it. You saw it. If you didn't see it, you shouldn't be in your position. We are now in a critical state, and you're going to address us by saying it's your fiduciary obligation to check your contingency plans. Where is your plan? Where was your stopgap when you reached 20 million in reserves? Why didn't you raise rates all those years? How are you going to recover? How are you going to have 73 units stay viable? What are you going to do to make sure that this continues as it should? Because it's really on you as the insurance director that we are where we are now. I hear nothing from you. I don't hear any personal responsibility. I don't hear anything. All I'm hearing is, oh, well, where was your $20 million stopgap before you raised rates? How many years didn't they raise rates? How many years did you drain it? You just sat there and drained it. Aren't we fabulous? Now we're I'm so mad I can't even talk.
Well, and the one thing that I find, like the hubris is by saying we could have gone 30 or 40, but we were nice. We only raised it 20%.
We only raised it 20%. Like what? So what is your game plan? Because you're just talking like we're sitting around having a cup of coffee, and we are in crisis mode for the town and the school, for our resources and our revenues, which need to go to town residents and school children and everybody else. And you're just like throwing your hands up in the air. Like I am so disappointed in you and your presentation. I can't even believe it. Like, what's your answer? Nothing? Just nothing?
My responsibility is to run the day-to-day operations.
How do you feel that's going for you?
This past year?
No, in the last however long you've been doing it, how do you feel that's been going for you?
Well, again, if you look, I've been in this role 13 years, and I've been going very well.
Really? Because you should have recognized 10 years ago where this train was going. A midline finance person could have looked at the data that I've reviewed 10 years ago and saw this coming. So I don't know.
So you foresaw
COVID? If you look at the
You
data,
foresee COVID?
you know what's funny is hospitals, a lot of hospitals didn't even charge insurance companies for COVID. How about that? A lot of hospitals didn't even charge insurance companies any claims whatsoever. So are we gonna talk about that? You wanna
I'd
get
love to
into the
see that proof.
granular?
I mean,
All right.
everybody's a Monday morning quarterback.
Mm.
And,
I'm
No, I'm a 40-year finance professional who has been very successful in my entire career. I know what I'm talking about, I know what I'm doing, and you have been remiss, egregious, and I think you should have personal liability for this. That's how I feel.
Heidi.
So my comment on the school committee
Heidi
chair.
is the chair of our school committee.
And my comment was, like getting here, we got here, I can't do anything about that, but I'm petrified for our schools
100%.
if this happens again. Like,
Okay.
this year, we had to do an override just to be able to continue basic services. And now this has the potential to ruin us, and how do I know in 3 months they're not gonna come out with a new breakthrough that's going to bankrupt you again? Like, whatever they're called, GLPs or whatever.
With him at the helm, you will, because he's
Right,
not-
I don't know if
Right.
something's gonna come out. There's constant things, like what if a cancer vaccine comes out? I'm sure that's not gonna be cheap, and I'm petrified for our schools.
I'd ask the person
Yeah,
next
he
to you,
doesn't have any
does she-
plans.
No, does she know?
I
I mean, I
think,
So you're gonna
again,
deflect.
to sit there and say that you know something from 10 years ago, that's.
To look at the
that's just
financial
completely
data
false.
and not have a stopgap in place to make sure that your reserves didn't go below a certain threshold and that you regularly increased rates even a nominal amount to continue to build those reserves is egregious.
Joe, I am sure that we are not your first municipality you've gone to and talked about what's been happening. And so I am confident that some of the frustration and anger that you're hearing here is not unfamiliar to you. As a board, we have been hit with, why didn't we know? And how could we know? Because we need to hear from you.
Because the control of information,
It's-
it's the information, the flow of it has been controlled so you only knew what he wanted you to know.
And I think what is particularly disheartening about this is kind of
Yeah.
I don't know, we'll have to see what happens. And so with that, I'm gonna be quiet and ask my colleagues, are there questions that you wanna ask?
Can I ask a math question first?
Yes.
So when I was going through this yesterday, Joe, something that was confusing me was, so you have your level funded amount that you level fund every month, fine, and then you have how the claims actually came in and the variance. So the variance going back to January is 6.9 million, but also going back to January, the reserve cash in the CD account and the investment account dropped over 10 million. So where's that $4 million corridor? Like, what's that?
Pharmacy increased again, month over month.
Okay, but do these claims not include pharmacy?
No, those are medical claims. Blue Cross Blue Shield is medical
Oh,
claims.
so why wouldn't you also include pharmacy in here?
We do have claims paid. We pay that on a cash basis. We pay that on a weekly basis through CVS.
Okay.
So again, there's not a level
All right.
funding with CVS.
I mean, if I were gonna put this chart together, I'd have my, medical, you've got your medical, here you've got your, that's GLP-1, you've got your medical and then your pharmacy, and then I would add it all together and then compare it to how you're,
But again, that's where the difference is,
okay.
between the medical and the pharmaceutical. That's where the cash reserve.
Okay, and then another math question I had is, so if the GLP-1s were averaging, so your GLP-1s were averaging like 600,000.
By the time it hit mid-year of this year, it hit 600,000. And it was going up 10% a month,
Okay,
going back a year and a half.
all right. So how do you figure the annual savings to eliminate GLP-1 coverage is only 2.8 million when the actual weight loss claims are over 500,000 a month? Is that because of rebates?
No, if on the GLP-1 usage,
Yep.
The WL is just for weight loss.
Weight loss,
So
yep.
again, that's been ticking up. So again, May and June, it was over $500,000 a month. So
Right.
that's the cash flow that we expect
Yep.
to save starting 10.
Well, if you multiply that time, so are you only carrying that through the end of the year through June 30th? Like, it's 500,000 a month
Right.
times the remaining months of the year is more than 2.8 million.
Well, 9 times $500,000 would be $4.5 million. That'll be
Okay,
the
so
savings
you're
on the
saying a
GLP.
$2.8 million savings, though.
Where do I say that?
Somewhere in here, it says you're expecting that you're gonna save 2.8 million by cutting the GLP-1s.
Oh, yes,
It's
there
right
are
here.
Yeah, there are adjustments to the rebates.
Okay, so it's
Yes,
rebates.
yes,
Okay.
Sorry.
All right,
And the rebates come a quarter behind.
okay. What is the weighted vote for Belchertown?
It's approximately 9%.
How do we compare to other communities in that, like, who has the biggest vote?
East Hampton and South Hadley are all within probably a fraction of a
So we're the top
0.5%.
three?
You would be the top 3, yes.
East Hampton, and what was the other?
South
South
Hadley. So you have individual stop loss,
Yes,
okay, but no aggregate stop loss, is that right?
correct.
Why?
Right.
Why?
We were told it's too expensive.
Every self-funding policy in the country has ag stop loss. You have to have that, especially if you're only gonna have 3 months of reserve. I know this isn't you. I understand your IAC votes the way they vote, and from what I've heard, I think it was Cindy that was saying it, that sometimes they go directly against what your recommendation is.
Yeah,
I understand that. I get
I
it.
can give you
I
multiple
sat in on
examples
one
of-
of those meetings
yeah.
and I did hear the same thing, but to have only 3 months of reserves with no ag stop loss just blows my mind.
Again, 3 months was considered actually very generous. We've been always beaten up over 3 months, and I know I've.
Right, but
one
you know in
comment-
the industry that is not normal.
In the municipal health insurance world, no.
No, it's not. I mean,
I'd ask what joint venture, what joint venture has multiple months.
I mean, Muni normally has bad claims. You should always have 9 to 12 months in there, in my
I
opinion.
know of no joint purchase group in the state of Massachusetts that has anywhere near 9 or 12 months.
And that's a shame if you're not gonna have ag stop loss to go against that. what about no terminal reserve? So if somebody wants to leave the group, they're on the hook for what, 18 months?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, I would urge you to be looking at a cost-benefit analysis that includes ag stop loss and/or some terminal reserve funding in there, so that if a group does want to leave you, I mean, who's going to leave you facing 18 months of lag claims? I just don't see that happening.
The bulk of those lag claims will be in those first couple of months.
Yep,
And then
understood.
after that, it drops off significantly. So it's almost, or it should be zero after a few months in most cases.
I mean, I don't really have any other questions. I have recommendations, but I don't have questions if you guys do.
I have a question. So knowing that East Hampton and South Hadley are two of the other largest shareholders, if one of those units were to leave, would the 20% increase be enough to cover, or could we find ourselves in this position again in a year?
Again, it's all risk. If, let's say, one of the top three leave, or two out of the top three leave, we don't know what claims they're taking with them. And the claims they have today might be very different than the claims they're going to have in June. So, so you can't answer that, because I've been asked that question by the state senators, by other units at similar meetings. What is their claim runoff going to look like? And again, it depends on how their claims are running up through May and June of next year.
Brian, do you have a question?
All right, since you asked, I'm Brian Herzog on the Finance Committee. I went through a lot of the year's worth of your packets for your meetings every month. And I noticed when you present the financials to the Executive Committee and the IAC, you talk about your gross totals. But when I compare that to your financial statement, at the end of the year, you have a net total that's consistent, well, around $10 million lower. I don't know what that difference
Well, again,
is.
when we get audited, they come up with liability. Liability would be premium reserve, that the number of units that put in, and then they come up with a calculation for incurred claims that still need to be paid, and that comes out to approximately $10 million.
So that,
if you were to look at the audited financial statement, if you look at the liability line, it's in that $10 million.
one of them was lower in the sevens, but most of them are around 10. Okay, so that net is just the last month and a half of claims that have come in but haven't been paid.
Correct.
Because you do have a different line item in there talking about outstanding liabilities. That's not the same.
On the audited financials?
Yeah.
Or, again, the audited financials liabilities would be, again, incurred claims, which if you look year after year, those incurred claims keep going up just as claims have gone up. The premium reserve has gone up slightly depending on any units getting brought in, and then there's a small incurred or OPEB amount as well.
So they're adding a number in there for claims that may not have been realized.
Correct.
As of then.
Yep.
Because that's
Yep.
kind of strange for a financial statement for a certain period of, not necessarily, but I don't know much about the insurance industry. That's why.
Yeah, no, it's the incurred but not reported is a financial number that the auditors always look for, and we get that from Blue Cross Blue Shield.
So just to follow up, in 2022 through 2025, so the 2022 you had a 0% increase, and the previous year there's an increase in reserves. I don't know what that increase is. That's great. I do know that when after 2017, when you had some significant decreases the previous 2 years, you were able to recover that really quickly.
Correct.
Very quickly. So hence I noticed you went into 0% shortly after.
Right.
And I think the trust has done a good job keeping it affordable for the communities, to the point where it almost was too good of a deal.
Right, I mean, there's a 1 year that you saw that there was a negative 2% reduction in premiums. And that was coming out of COVID. We were sitting on a lot of cash. A lot of insurance companies were giving rebates or reducing their premium. Again, the recommendation was to have another zero, and that was turned down, and well, it was a minus 2% reduction in premiums.
So, okay, so moving forward, 2003, 2004, I'm just going off your meeting minutes, I'm not looking at the statements. 224, there isn't a statement yet, but there's a $5 million loss in your January 1st, 2023 meeting. And 2024, $6 million loss. You raised rates 6% in 23 and 8% in 24. I have the meeting minutes in here, but without looking at it, I know that the committee went against your recommendation at least once, if not multiple times. So what policies can be put in place to make sure we don't end up here again with regards to funding, to where the executive committee and the IAC have no say in it? It's a policy put in place that...
I mean, we would have to change the trust agreement language, because the trust agreement language is very specific in regards to the reporting authority and who makes the final decision. Again, I'm hired to run the day-to-day and make the recommendations. That goes into a 9-person executive committee, who then either says yay or nay to my recommendations, and that moves up to the IAC, who can say yay or nay. Again, as I mentioned before, a perfect example was just in May, when I wanted to put the GLP formulary change into place for July 1st. Again, it was going to be $1.5 million savings to the trust, that got turned down and changed. And as you pointed out, the 2 years ago, when it was 8%, I had recommended something 10% or higher, and it also got rejected. The trust agreement would have to be adjusted. That would still leave the community's voice, obviously, to make suggestions, but you're advocating the insurance director have a final say.
That's not what I'm saying.
Well, that I make recommendations, and if they get rejected.
Right, except for if they're rejected, is there, do you follow up, or do you begin with, I'd actually love it if you began with, here are the repercussions if this is voted down?
Well, it's clearly made known to them, the repercussion is you're going to eat up more of the reserve. There's only so many levers and so many pots of money to either grab from or to spend on. And if we don't raise rates, if it's recommended to go 10 and you're only going 8, then money's got that other 2% plus, especially if claims go worse than projected, is going to come from the reserve. That's the only other place it can come from.
How can this board, or is there a way for this board to be reassured, that the folks who are covered through this insurance are going to enjoy continued coverage? I mean, we have no idea what you're going to do. If you just decide, okay, we're going belly up, what happens to our folks?
Well, again, we don't want to go belly up. That's why, again, we put the rate increase in, and why we reached out to the state legislators and made them aware of what happened, all of the material, and a lot more was provided to them at the beginning of August. Unfortunately, August they take their time off on vacations and such. Next Friday, I'll hopefully get at least some inkling if they are going to help on that.
Has the state ever bailed out a joint purchase?
Good question.
Well, do you count the GIC?
Well, no.
The GIC was in the exact same, those that don't know, Mass GIC covers state employees plus a lot of other municipalities, including Springfield and Northampton. They got bailed out to the tune of $250 million.
Okay.
They missed their number by $250 million in May, and the legislators just gave them a blank check, and that happens.
I feel like the
more often
state
than
is
you
going to
know.
come back and say, should join the GIC.
Well, when I brought it up at the first meeting, I was told that's different, and I didn't pursue what they meant by what that's different. I'm not sure how it was different, because they're a joint purchase group, much, much bigger than we are, and they missed their target by $240 million, and they only raised their rates about 12% starting on July 1st. They also, the governor right now is looking to also stop GLP coverage for January 1, but the GIC still has to vote on that, and they don't meet again until later in September. So they're probably going to miss it by another few hundred million, but they've always just gotten a blank check, so they never have to have a reserve. They just would
So
go to the governor.
where's your 2024 audit? Who's actually inputting the financial data? How's it getting input? And who's the accountant that's qualified to track these finances?
The audit comment, which is one of the last things here, the audit will be started later this month, and
Why did it take so long? Because normally you don't wait this long for a 2024 audit when we're going into 2026.
just miscommunication on my end and the auditors. Yeah, the audit comment that you see, it's been the same one year after year.
But it's never been taken advantage of.
It's right, it's been the same one year after
Well,
year, and it hasn't been.
What this audit comment is asking for is to have a full-blown general ledger.
Right.
And we've argued that we don't need a full-blown general ledger.
If you have
We know our
40
income.
40 million plus of money coming in, 73 units of receivables and payables, who in a finance capacity would ever think you don't need a double entry general ledger system to track that, so you can track each one of the units, their receivables, their payables, the revenue coming in, who it went to? Like, who would have thunk that wasn't a good idea? Because at $41 million, I'm pretty sure you need a double line item general ledger system. They cost a couple $1,000s, and they're pretty easy to use. You don't even need a CPA or somebody with a advanced degree. They're so easy to use these days. So why is it that you didn't put one of those in to deal with multi tens of millions of dollars?
Well, one, we didn't, and two, would it have made a difference?
Yes,
No,
it would have
not.
made a difference, because
No,
you would have
not.
been able to see the flows and the trends. Please.
I have spreadsheets that show the flows and trends.
But spreadsheets need to be codified together, and so when you have a general ledger double line accounting system, you can pull reports that codify all that data into a master report, and then you can review that, project off of there. You can look at all kinds of different things. I have spreadsheets too everywhere, but it only is a part of my general ledger system. It is only something I might do for my own interest, but my data comes from the general ledger accounting system that we implement, because we have so many various contracts that we work on. Otherwise, who knows, somebody does a formula wrong on a spreadsheet, there's 2 million gone. Somebody does something not wrong over here, oh, this unit owes us $50,000 or $500,000, but we didn't collect it because somebody hit the wrong cell in the Excel spreadsheet. Like, you're talking tens of millions of dollars in 73 units who should each have their own contract, for the lack of a better word, that has their cash flows in, their payments out, their claims out, in and out, and then have it flow into a master.
That's where we don't get claims on an individual unit basis. Blue Cross Blue Shield and CVS uses one entity, so when we get claim data, we get claim data for the trust. So I have no idea what Belchertown looks like. I have no idea what
So
Tablet
how do you
looks like.
validate that the claim data is accurate? If you have no idea how to validate it against the person that's using it, how do you even know it's accurate? How do you know to question it or not?
That's where we hire Blue Cross Blue Shield to adjudicate our claims. So when we get it back, we're assuming they've done their job.
Who's your accountant that's tracking the 41 million in and out, the 20 million, the 8 million, the losses? Who's your
If
accountant?
you're looking for the accountant, I guess I would be, because
So
I'm
you're the accountant.
maintaining the spreadsheets.
So you're, oh my God.
Okay, new voice, Jay?
Yep, I'm out.
Jay Goldsberg, School Committee. If I was a teacher or an educator watching this, I think I would assume that it doesn't sound like there's any processes or systems that are changing internally in the trust.
Mhm.
And that would cause me a lot of pause, because I just paid almost 40% increase in my insurance. So I just wanna make sure that if that's the case, this 20%, if I was watching this meeting, this 20%, how was it determined that it was going to address the problems that you've identified? Like, we're looking for specific, detailed assurance that that 20% is what you need to make it work. It was described as the perfect storm. Those happen every 100 years. So what's the thing that, how'd you come up with 20%?
Well, again, we looked at cash flow, and 10%, the original cash flow worksheet, when I was asked, would that be enough? And if you looked at our cash flow, the answer is simply no. 20%, you do the same simple math, along with the GLP, $2 million of additional cash flow should work. When you say the same old thing, I mean, we've been meeting, the executive committee that has been meeting weekly to discuss what's going to be happening for next year. Is the plan going to remain the same? Obviously, it can't. Are there going to be changes to it, i.e., are we going to do any co-pays? Will we add a plan like a GIC life plan alongside the current plan that we have today? Those are all discussions that are going to be taking place between now and January.
And internally, so that these alarms go off earlier and faster, what are the things that you're going to do differently and change so that everyone in the room knows faster that these increases are coming?
Well, right now, as I said, the cash flow statement, I'm going to be doing an estimated one every month. Again, our financials are put out on our website on a monthly basis. But again, the cash flow that I've done through June 30th of next year breaks down all of the different components between the medical and pharmaceutical claims, and then all the other miscellaneous items that make up the operations of the trust. So I'll do an actual estimate each month just to see how close we get.
Is that different than what you were doing?
Well, yeah, I had never done a cash flow statement estimating what claims were. Blue Cross would give us what they call their payment that we make, level funded payment each month, and they estimated that at the beginning of each year. So that's their sort of ballpark figure, what they think medical claims are going to come in at, because we do a settling up with them. So sometimes they owed us, sometimes we owed them. During 2025, we never were owed any money. We were out, we owed Blue Cross Blue Shield the $7 or $8 million. So again, there was a process in place of what did Blue Cross predict each year, and we monitor that each month when claims came in the door.
Just for people watching at home who aren't familiar with this world, the window where you're monitoring and then having these meetings that determine this percentage increase, how is that window either changing or staying the same going forward?
Well, again, we're going to look at month by month, looking at estimated to actual, but then the discussion about what are we going to do for 7-1, because we can't leave the plan as is, because if, let's say, claims start accelerating again, obviously the 20% isn't enough. No one wants to see another significant rate increase, so are we going to make it a different offering?
But you couldn't, so there would not be the possibility to change that percentage until June. There wouldn't be an alarm that would go off, some kind of warning that something needs to change. If we saw
well, again, yeah, I mean, if we see what we saw, let's say in May and June of 2025, yes, that there's an alarm bell, and that's when the alarm bell did go off. May's medical claims came in all-time high. It came in $3 million, $3.5 million higher than what Blue Cross was calling for their level funded amount. And then June was slightly better, but it still came in $1.6 million higher than what was projected. So those 2 months alone, the alarm bells were ringing when May claims came in the door.
And if you saw it in February, well, would you still have to wait till June?
No, well, wait for
rate increase.
Rate increase. The state legislators asked something similar, and as I said to them, if we went to the state in January and we said we had an 18% rate increase coming up in July 1st and we have $22 million in the bank, you would have laughed at me. And they keep asking that same question. Well, why don't you come to us sooner? And we came to you as soon as we saw the problem, where May went bad, and typically, if we see a high month, we'll usually see 1 or 2 low months.
Understand.
And we didn't see that.
But
And
let's
so
say
we reached out to the
before
legislators
June,
in July.
you know that something's going wrong. Can you do anything in January, February to tell the people that this will
Yeah.
impact?
I'm gonna bring this back, okay? You know, in Jake's line of questioning, what I'm struck by is, I think you and I agree probably on this, that the trust has lost trust, right, with the units that you've been working with. And, you know, when that happens, there's a reputation, there's a damage to your reputation. Can we agree on that?
Yes.
So if we agree on that, then what I've noticed is very good practice is if you want to win your customer base back, you increase communications, you double down on commitment, you double down on answering the question, why should we trust you again? And what I find puzzling with this and worrying, it's worrisome to me, is that I'm not hearing that. And I want to know what, if anything, you're putting in place so that communications can be increased and that level of trust have the opportunity to be rebuilt, if it can be rebuilt.
The level of communication, again, we've committed, we're gonna send out that actual estimate to everybody, and everybody within our units should have received that. Everybody has been communicated that we've been actively talking with the state legislators, because I'm asked every week, any news from the state legislators, and unfortunately there is no news. I've been asked, are there gonna be plan changes or another rate increase? Same thing, I mean, the same answers are going back, that they are being discussed, plan changes. What they are, I don't know. I mean, we have to discuss them. We're gonna have to discuss them within the executive committee, then within the IAC. And any help from the state, I think is contingent on we putting our best foot forward, showing what we're doing or trying to do, at least to right the ship. So, I mean, they're looking at the same thing, so.
I think I'm talking about individual, you know, people who buy this insurance, to talk with them. You know, how about simply understanding that this was a huge blow, not, you know, certainly to municipalities, but to each person who's paying for the insurance, and understanding that, you know, that you feel like you understand that this has been incredibly difficult. And, you know, I can't speak for you. I don't know your business, but I do know that any product that is damaged, regardless of what it is, that's the area that you spend much more time communicating with your customer base on. And, you know, I don't know if it's a recommendation or a question. I just think something should be done so that your customers know that this is not going to happen again, or here are the measures that we're putting in place. Here's what we're doing right now. We'll get back to you on September 16th and with these updates. It just feels like this is very nebulous, and I don't know. I'll leave it at that.
I think I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Lisa, can I?
Anyone else? Steve, you have not weighed in at all.
Lisa,
Well,
can I chime
unfortunately,
in?
I spent the last couple of minutes trying to get her vote to. So, I think you've covered it pretty well. We're back on one.
Okay,
One question.
okay.
Lisa, I have a question.
Yes.
So, I agree that these, when there are technological breakthroughs in medicine, it could lead to a spike in claims, and it seems that this has been coming down. This has been happening, that may have caused this. So I guess the question is, I know that we all belong to professional and organizations where we can see what is happening in the industry, so that we may be able to kind of maybe predict when things like this are gonna happen in the future. I mean, we live in a like breakneck speed society now with technology, so there are always gonna be these medical breakthroughs, and when they happen, you know, people that have access to their medical insurance, they're going to access it. And so I guess the question is, how could you access organizations that will allow you to be able to kind of see what's coming down the pipeline before it gets here, like being able to see GLP before it gets here, that it's going to cause a spike in claims and other things that may cause a spike in claims for the future, so that then your recommendation might be, okay, this is something that's going to happen, and when it does, this is what claims might look like, so we may want to make an adjustment now, if you understand what I'm saying.
I mean, using GLP ones, CVS knew it was late 23, and then Zepbound, which is the most popular one, maybe more than Wegovy, had just come out either December 23 or January 24. And that's when we saw it take off. I mean, they knew weight loss drugs might do very well, but they were also injectables, where, to your point too, what's coming down the pipeline, all the drug manufacturers are working fast and furious to put it into pill form, and if they price that right, whoever gets it in pill form is going to clean up. But we may not cover it just yet. We'll probably look at the pricing on it as well to see if it's.
So you knew that in 2023, you knew that?
No,
Well, that's what you just said. You said in 2023, CVS got together, and so we're in 2025,
Right.
and we did nothing.
Well, nobody was on Zepbound when we set our rates for the 24 year.
Didn't
Nobody was
project
even
this train
using it.
coming.
It was had just been approved by the FDA, where even CVS Caremark, their crystal ball wasn't projecting the sales.
So we don't need that crystal ball. We don't.
We don't.
We need aggregate stop-loss insurance.
100%.
That's the answer.
I'll get pricing, but.
I've looked at I mean, Joe, these rates are so low compared to what you see, compared to the GIC, what was the other one that you guys looked at, the other joint purchase?
Valley, we looked at,
Yeah.
you know, all the big ones.
I mean, I can't speak for the employees, but if I were an employee, I would be willing to pay that small extra in premium for that peace of mind of knowing that this isn't going to happen again. Especially with the rates as low as they are. And also, so this is something that has really been bugging me. I don't know if you know this, I am a broker. I'm a senior benefits consultant. The last IAC that I ran was a 20-member IAC with the city of Holyoke. And in my entire 15-year career, I have never had a client or an AIC fly right in the face of my recommendation. They have always gone lockstep with me with what I tell them to do. What is going on that these communities are not saying, yes, Joe, you're the expert, let's do what you say? Is there a lack of trust there? Are you not being firm enough with them that this is what you're going to do, and if you don't do it, this is what's going to happen? It just seems foreign to me that your client is not trusting you.
You're spot on. I mean, that's a head scratcher that I've had for every.
Because they're not experts at this.
Right.
You're the expert.
That's right. And when they see that we have $30 million in the bank, they want it to be used to support rates.
Yep.
And they've been told
Yep.
that if you don't, increase your premium, the only other place you're going to offset your claims is with that reserve.
Yeah.
And they've made that decision multiple times. And why? Again,
So I do, that I'm going to take offline with you, but I do have a lot of plan design recommendations that I want to work with you and Joanne on. And I understand it still has to go to the IAC. But I think for me, the biggest things tonight are looking at ag stop loss.
Can you explain what that is?
Okay. So what's your individual stop loss at?
400,000.
Okay. So if
Maybe explain that too.
if any one member belly button that's on the plan has more than $400,000 in claims, they have an insurer. Blue Cross, who's your stop loss?
For the year that just ended, it was Unum.
Okay, so Unum is their stop loss insurer. So once any member hits that number, that amount, Unum comes in and picks up the remainder of the claims for the rest of the plan year. So you kind of got to look at it as that's one bucket. Then there's this other bucket that sits around all of the individual stop losses that takes all of that overflow. So if all these individuals run up their stop loss and it overflows into this bigger bucket, that's the aggregate bucket. When that aggregate bucket, which is all members, hits a certain amount, then an aggregate stop loss carrier comes in and starts to cover those claims beyond that amount. Would we have hit aggregate stop loss in this situation? Probably we would have after a certain month.
For the insurance year that just ended, yes.
We would have hit it and we would have had that protection. There's a cost to it though. So as employees, you've got to pay for it out of your paycheck. I know from, just thinking of a group that I have right now for ag stop loss, it's like $40-something a month for a single plan extra. Think about how much the town contributes towards your premium and how much you contribute towards your premium. Split that. What is it? What do you guys pay?
70-30.
So you have to pay 30% of a single plan of an extra $40 a month to not have to be in this situation. I feel like you guys would do it.
Yeah.
I feel like you'd be okay with it if you understood how it worked.
That's a lot of money.
I just want to see the math. That's all.
We have a new voice.
Yeah, I'm Eric Weiss, I'm chair of the capital planning committee. I'm just trying to figure out the dynamic, echoing what Nicole said. The dynamic of how you can operate a board, how the Hampshire County Trust can operate a board when they're constantly disagreeing with their director, and how that works in terms of building trust, first of all, trust from us, and second of all, if you're the messenger being sent out and not everything is your fault, where are they in this picture? Where are they in terms of explaining that? Because everybody's involved in this together. This isn't just you, this is the towns, this is the representatives, and I don't know how you can operate a board where there's constant disagreement between the director and the members. And the members, although they may have knowledge, they can't be the ones that control and dictate what the decision-making policies are going to be. That has to come from the other side, from the expert side. So if you can explain how that dynamic works, that would greatly appreciate it.
Well, again, I'm just going to go back to the trust agreement, the way it was established back in 1999. And again, it was the executive committee. And then in the old days, it went up through the Hampshire Council of Governments. And then when that went away, we had to have someone in that role, and it was the owners of the trust, which is the Insurance Advisory Committee, all 73 units.
So you would walk into a meeting and say, we need to raise rates by 3%, and they go, no, -2?
Yeah.
And you're going to be revisiting this charter?
Well, yeah, I mean,
Isn't it-
lots going to be revisited.
I think it's a law under 32B that, well, I think you form an IAC and the IAC gets the final vote, right? I mean, is there another alternative?
Well, 32B for each individual town, like again,
Yep.
Belchertown would have an IAC to make recommendations or meet.
Right,
with
but
the
is there
trust,
an
but that-
alternative to an IAC
What
under
does an
32B?
IAC mean?
Oh, an Insurance Advisory Committee. So for the trust case, all 73 units have a member that has a voting share that's weighted.
And
How do we
Belchertown
pick
has
our
9%.
How do we pick our member?
She's here,
How do we
remember?
pick it, like, how is that decided?
Well, Joanne,
What was the question?
How do we pick our executive member or trust agent? How is that?
It's a vote, I ran because Lisa Banner was the treasurer collector prior to me coming on. And her seat was vacant, so I ran and I was voted in.
You were
So
voted-
she had both roles. She's on the executive committee and on the Insurance Advisory Committee.
I guess I'm confused. I don't know how does somebody run then? How does, like, can
Well,
anybody run? Or?
somebody here would have appointed Joanne to run, or be your representative, at least your IAC representative.
well, that would be
And then-
Steve, right?
And
Part of
then
the
she
general
then,
Yeah.
as an IAC representative, she then ran to be on the executive.
Yeah, and I feel like Joanne has really been a voice
No,
of
that makes
reason
sense.
throughout
Yeah,
all of
yeah.
this. She absolutely has been, and she and I have been working closely on this. And I mean, and I'm not going away from this. I mean, I'm inviting myself to every single meeting going forward, and I hope to be really involved in the next renewal so that we don't come into this again.
We have a very participatory town.
No, which is great, and, I mean, I know you mentioned that you have a lot of plan change recommendations.
Yep.
And just so everybody's aware, those, let's say if they're presented, and any change, if they came from me or anybody else, would have to go through that 32B,
Yep.
Section 21, 23 process, which everybody had to do 7 or 8 years ago.
I guess my hope was that this was enough of a, I hope this just like made all of these communities go, oh my God, we can't live the way we've been living before. We've got to start listening to our experts and being more conservative with our money. I mean, maybe this was the scare that they needed.
There's another question.
So Joe, I just had a chance to pull up on the 2023 financial statement. I just want to go to what I was reading to before. I didn't expect to speak, so I didn't have it open. But up until 2022, what is referred to as your non-current liabilities, they were all $500,000 or less. They weren't really big. In 2023, it jumped up to $5.2 million, $5,182,000. That's liabilities not due in the next 12 months, non-current.
Can I just see, because I'm guessing it's the incurred.
I just want, there's nothing after this, so does that keep going up? Basically, that's long-term debt.
That one I'm gonna have to ask. I'll have to get back to you.
Because my concern for asking that question is, does the executive committee and the IAC know your actual cash position when they're making these decisions?
Yes, they did.
Because you have the total assets in there, but not the net assets. Let's do a $10 million difference. That's the only thing that I was concerned with.
This was the 23 one.
It's a huge
jump.
Huge jump.
It's $4.5 million jump.
Thank you.
Yes,
Can I say
Heidi.
something? So, I'm on the school committee. Brian is our superintendent. He's behind you. He's the knowledgeable one who makes recommendations to us. We could at any point choose to disagree with him. And I guarantee if we did and he was in the situation you're in, he would not hesitate to tell us about that. Like, I'm curious if you're going to share this with your board.
This meeting?
Yeah,
Yes.
good.
Yes,
I
Brian.
don't, Joanne will.
Brian?
I just have a question. I don't know if it goes to Nicole or Joanne. In the scheme of all this, I keep hearing people say, we still have a very rich plan. It's still a very good plan. What does that mean in terms of this?
We're almost the unicorn out there. We don't have a medical deductible at all. The only deductible is for pharmaceutical, and that's $100 for an individual, $200 for a family. And then the only other out-of-pocket cost for a member would be a copay. It's like going to a doctor's, a hospital visit, ER visit. That's it. Virtually all the other municipalities in the state of Massachusetts have some kind of not only copays, but deductible, where the GIC, which is probably the biggest unit out there, has $500 and $1,000, $500 for an individual, $1,000 for a family. And then likewise, if you look at their website, they have all sorts of tiering of doctors. So depending on what doctor you're going to, the copay might be higher. Same with hospitals. Depending on what hospital you go to, the copay might be higher. So again, we're probably one of very, very few that have this kind of benefit plan.
So let me give you an example.
And our premiums are
Yeah. Well, let me give you an
even
example
better
on that.
than other communities that have these deductibles.
Right, so you guys have no deductible on your plan. I was looking at this today in preparation for tonight. I have one group, of all my groups that I have one group that still does a no deductible plan. Their single rate monthly is over $1,200 a month. Yours after the increase is $711 a month. Like, that is like,
No, it's
wow.
higher than that. It should be.
So 711 is right now?
Yes.
Okay. So 711 plus, so still super
Yeah,
low
no,
compared
yeah,
to
we- We've
1,200.
done the comparison where even with this 20% increase, our rates are still comparable to those that have the deductible plan, and we still don't have the deductible. But because of the cost to the plan into the communities, that's why, some of the discussion's been around, do we add in a second plan that is like a GIC, like one that's not as benefit rich.
And when you have a no deductible plan, utilization goes up.
Yes,
Well,
it does.
I don't have to pay anything for this MRI, I'm gonna go get it.
Yep.
So that's another thing to think about too.
So that could all change if we did something different.
Well, I think I was just gonna say, what are the next steps now? What are the next steps?
I mean, well, the next steps for the trust, the IAC is meeting next Thursday. Some of the discussions, more coming out of the legislators was making any changes for 1/1. Mid-year benefit change, which recommendation is not to do anything benefit-wise for 1/1. Everybody's very angry about the rate increase. I think if we start tweaking any of the benefits, it's going to get people even more angry. There's been always talk year after year about a high deductible plan. We talked about that last week, and we're not going to recommend that either to the IAC for January 1, maybe for July 1st, but not for January 1, just because the high deductible plan really doesn't benefit the subscriber because they're going to build up to their $1,000 payment out of pocket, and then it's going to reset 6 months later. So
Right.
they're really sort of getting gypped there. So there's no recommendation there, but again, we'll be kicking off still just discussions about what do people want to see in regards to this plan. What are the recommendations? Nicole, you said you have a lot of recommendations. I have some. I think everybody is going to have recommendations, and then we're going to have to winnow those down to what really would work, look at the dollars and cents. Again, if we raise, going to a specialist from $35 to $60, okay, that's $25, but what does that really do to the bottom line? How many visits do we have to specialists? Will that move the needle a few $100,000 or $1 million or $2 million? So again, everything is basically, we're going to throw it against the wall and see what sticks in the end.
Could I just ask a question on Mr. Cochran? The people who are on the board that make your decisions, what are the qualifications to be on that board to make these important decisions in order to either help or inhibit you from taking care of the trust properly?
Well, again, they're appointed by the towns. In many cases, on the executive committee, there's a lot of either treasurers or business managers from schools. On the IAC, it's a wide mix, from maybe someone from HR to again, business manager, or there is no job requirement or job description for an IAC or executive committee.
Anybody else have anything?
For the finance committee, anybody else on the finance committee?
School committee?
Select board? I have one. Have any of your units decided to leave?
No. Anybody that's thinking about going to the GIC has to give notification to the GIC by December 1st. Again, I know they're having an information session next week. Don't know how many people have expressed an interest. Anybody that does want to go to the GIC, again, have to let the GIC know by 12/1, but then also they would have to go through the section 21 through 23, 32B, because the GIC benefits are completely different than our benefits. So again, it has to go through the bargaining process or through 21 through 23. We do know of another broker group out there that is involved with a joint purchase group that is looking to pick off or poach some of our smaller units. There's some things around that broker that people really need to do their due diligence in regards to having any dealings with them. I just can't get into details. So yeah, I mean, do we expect a number of units to to put their business out to bid, yes. What folks may or may not find, you may not find an insurance company that's gonna bid with benefits as they are. They more than likely are gonna come back with at least the GIC plan. Because, again, what we have is just, not offered out there in the marketplace. So again, that's one thing that we have to look at. So we fully expect people to kick the can, or check the tires, and then expect people to leave, and we'll at least know by December 1st, we may go to the GIC.
And did I hear you make a commitment? Let me just see if you'll make this commitment, that over the next weeks and months, that you will communicate both with municipalities and with individual customers on the progress made against your goals.
Well, to all the units, yes, absolutely.
Yes.
I mean, we have 13,000 insureds. We don't have email addresses for virtually any of them, so that would leave mass mailings. I'm not sure if that's the way to go.
Or you could just send out an email to the
To
towns
the
and the school
exact-
administration and have them
say,
blast it
here,
out.
send this out to,
Right, yeah.
Like
the
that.
members.
Yeah.
And, so that people hear about what's going on as it's happening, know what's coming down the pike, and what your position is.
And then after next week, there'll probably be two communications. One with the IAC, that's going to be Thursday, and then Friday with the state legislators.
All right, then I would just ask that the select board, and I would assume the school committee and the finance committee should be apprised of what's going on. All right, well, Mr. Shea, this was not easy. I do appreciate your time, and I wish I felt better about the presentation, but I appreciate your being honest with us.
No, and again, as I told the legislators, it's all about claims and projecting where they're going. It's really impossible.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
If you feel free to stay, school committee and finance
Are you
committee.
staying?
Okay.
So you
I
want
want to
to,
know if I should adjourn this.
Because the Cold Spring
You're
School,
leaving?
that's the same that we'll discuss later, right?
okay,
Okay.
We're on the-
yes, yeah.
So I'm gonna adjourn, or I make a motion to adjourn the school committee at 8:02.
I second it.
All in favor? Aye. Okay. The
I
school
make a
committee's out.
and I make a motion to adjourn the finance committee at 8:02:30. All in favor?
Thank you all for coming. All right.
You're welcome.
I'm just going to give a minute to clear the room.
What?
Really? Stay.
Because we're hearing about it.
Thank you,
Just
Lori.
No, next Tuesday.
Okay. Thank you, Brian.
So I don't know what they're gonna say, so that's why I'm saying. I'll sit with you.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay.
These are the right person for this moment.
Thank you, I appreciate that. I'm staying on it.
Oh, there you go. That's good.
Okay.
To be fired.
Okay, if I can call this meeting back to order.
I'll take care of Brian.
Hey,
No,
Could we
what are you gonna do about it?
please skip down? Thank you. Skip down to discussion action item B?
Yep, well, we already took care of A, so
Yeah.
we would be on 6B, which is a discussion regarding Cold Spring School. On August 19th, I attended the school committee meeting. There was a presentation on enrollment trends, as well as school consolidation and or regionalization efforts. Throughout that conversation, the focus shifted to the Cold Spring School building and the high cost of maintaining that building, keeping it open, and whether there was enough of a benefit in continuing that path forward.
Were there other was select board there as well?
Yes,
Anybody?
other members were there.
Okay, great.
And then I was joined virtually.
Okay, great.
Vacation.
Yes.
All right.
So, and Brian's here, so he can elaborate on this a little bit further, but as the conversation evolved, it was determined that it might be best if the superintendent could work on a transitional plan, and what that would actually look like, and the school committee agreed to bring it up at a future meeting. I felt this was important enough to add it to the agenda so that the select board could either plan to attend the September 9th meeting as individuals or board. If you have comments or questions or concerns, we could certainly get those to the superintendent ahead of time. So I just felt it would be a good time to have an open discussion about that, what that would actually look like. I think we've talked about it a lot from a very high level, a 10,000 foot level, but it sounds like we're getting close to a decision being made once and for all. So,
Could I ask, just to understand, for the select board members that went, what were your takeaways from the meeting?
I think it was a good meeting. I think it was a good talk. All the principals spoke about the transition plan. I think that the biggest thing coming out of there was a transition plan. That's what I got. And I think Mr. Cameron was going to put together a transition plan and open comments up to the public to hear from the parents and see how the parents feel about that stuff too. All the principals seemed on board. I mean, there were some issues. Obviously, I want to Jabesh Brook. I mean, the concern is huge there. It needs a roof. It needs other ventilation things. So that's going to have to be something that probably needs to be addressed on maybe a budget standpoint this year to figure out some of that stuff. I can't speak on all that what needs, but Mr. Cameron can probably speak on some of that stuff, the high priority items of Jabesh Brook.
Okay.
But I think it'd be good that we went to the next meeting, all of us, to show the community we're invested along with them. So I don't know if we can post a meeting or be invited maybe by the school committee so we can speak openly.
I was under the impression you all were invited, so I will officially invite you now. I invited the finance committee today. She was going to post so that if they want to speak, they can. And I definitely encourage you guys to do that. Brian's put together a whole lot of information for us, things that we've thought of, things that maybe we haven't thought of, that he can see in the, I don't know, in the realm of things. But I'm hoping we can vote on the 9th as to whether or not we're going to move forward with that plan.
And Heidi did a great job orchestrating it. I want to give it a kudos. Like, she kept it all together, and Mr. Cameron put a lot of stuff in having the principals there. So I think it was good to show the public everything that's going on. It wasn't. I want to make sure they were being transparent. Everything was transparent, so it wasn't. Nothing was hidden. I don't feel like that. So I don't want the public to think that the select board, the school committee, the finance committee is pulling a fast one after our last meeting, and we talked about close Cold Spring now, close it then. So it wasn't from that meeting. It was something the school committee thought out and was well planned. And I have to give Jake, Heidi, right down my bosses in here. Ruby's back here. So they did a great job with it. So.
Oh, that's great. Do you have anything?
No, I think John did a great job overviewing everything.
Brian, do you want to add anything?
No, I will be presenting the possibility of closing, the option of closing Cold Springs on the 9th. It's the bird's eye view. There's different points throughout the year that you would get more follow-up information. But this is an overall view of the timeline that we would do. And then it's up to the school committee to make a vote and move on from that point.
Thanks, Brian. Can we make a commitment to go to that meeting?
Sure. May I ask a question? The bird's eye view, would that be also including all of the shifting that would have to happen as a response?
It's only the grade, it's not all the details.
Okay.
But it will be including, like Jabesh is going to now have 3 grades.
Right.
And
Right.
the extra use of that building.
Right, but it wouldn't be as detailed to say, and this will be the new traffic pattern and things like that. Right, no.
It could very easily say, we're going to need to address the traffic pattern, like as we come up with a plan for how to do this, but there's not going to be a solution.
Sure.
It's very laid out throughout the year. I have to wait on to see what final numbers are for student enrollment. That's going to affect number of grade, teachers, whatever. So it would be premature to tell you this is exactly what's going to happen. And then, there's a timeline. We're going to have to meet different benchmarks. I want to reiterate and thank John for the Jabesh, because I think one thing I'd say is the public's decided we didn't need a new middle school. We heard that, but Jabesh is staying open. We need to do some work to Jabesh.
Yeah.
There's no way around it.
No.
So I'll talk about that Tuesday, the 9th as well. And it's going to have to be a joint effort for all of us. Grants, bonds, MSBA, whatever it will take to make that doable for students at Jabesh Brook.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you.
Can I also say we considered looking at closing Jabesh and making the high school 7 through 12, or moving central office to the high school, and none of those plans were immediate enough or financially beneficial enough to happen immediately. So if we did the Jabesh to the high school, it would cost a lot more in renovations to the high school, and that could hurt us down the road if we want to look at regionalization.
Okay.
So that's how we ended up at the Cold Spring option.
Thank you.
Can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
So there was a few options that we looked at on the table, right? So one of them was closing Jabesh and
Yep.
making the high school 7 through 12.
Okay.
So that would require significantly more construction.
Yep.
And that might not make us able to regionalize in the future. Right?
Right.
Because if there's too many people in there, we couldn't take more students in.
Right, for that particular building.
Right.
Yes,
So if
okay.
we were to do that option. So we looked at different options. One option was closing central office and moving that to the high school. That was not going to be enough of a savings to really help us. So we looked at several things, and closing Cold Spring was the most beneficial and the easiest to do in 1 year.
Okay.
I think it'd be good if you could send all the, or maybe Brian can send those numbers out. You guys had a nice sheet of all the
Oh,
costs.
yeah.
And I think that would be good if the board saw it,
Oh,
maybe
that'd
for the
be
meeting.
great. If that's okay.
We definitely added some notes to it too. I see Ruby has it there, and
Yes,
she
that
added some
sheet,
great
yeah, that
ideas.
sheet. Those are great.
So yeah, we can add those in there.
Yeah, that would be
The
helpful.
things that you added to that analysis.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I
And-
have my notes on there,
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Oh, okay.
And we can share it.
Sure,
Okay.
because I think John and Steve might be the only ones who have a copy of that anyway. So.
I think they're in the public documents if you
Okay.
go to the school committee
All right.
website.
We don't have that sheet, but we have the other sheet.
You have the other sheets.
Okay. So can we make a commitment to go to the September 9th meeting?
It's already on my calendar.
Are you available?
I am going to be dropping my kid off in Boston that day,
Okay.
but I will try to get back here.
Sounds like we'll have
Log in
quorum though.
remotely.
Yeah, and we'll have
I'm
quorum.
sure- Oh,
As long as you
Okay.
have a
Yeah,
forum,
I'll be
I'll
there.
post it.
Okay.
We will have
All right.
quorum.
Yeah. Jen may not be able to go, but we'll all be there. And thank you for the invitation. Okay. Again, you're welcome to stay for the whole meeting.
I'm
Or-
good if that's that.
That's that.
Okay.
Thank you again.
So 6C is the gold cane policy.
Yeah.
Did we skip something? Did we skip
We never approved the minutes.
agenda packets?
The notes are out of order from the agenda.
Oh, okay.
Fine.
And unless I'm missing something, we do have minutes to approve, don't we?
No.
We don't? They're in our, they were sent to us.
So unless they put it on the agenda.
It's
which
on the
there
agenda.
Are nothing.
I don't think everybody got
Usually
that.
put like.
We did get them in our packet, didn't we, from the August 18th?
No.
No. We might have gotten them to look at.
Okay.
In preparation. For
I've
the
definitely
next
read
meeting.
the minutes. All right.
Okay.
Not on the agenda.
Thanks, Whitney. All right.
I've
Now
definitely
gold
read them.
cane.
So 6C is the gold cane policy in your notes. It's under item E. And essentially what we're trying to do is reactivate the gold cane program. Whereas we award the gold cane to the oldest resident of Belchertown.
Did we lose everybody again?
No, it's not.
I think there's a cord loose.
I think it's. Is it this? Like what is going?
We're still live. It's on my computer. So I'll fix it in a second.
Okay.
What we're trying to do is reactivate the program. We attempted to do this about 18 months ago. The board voted on a policy change. So what I'm hoping to do is just have the board take a quick look at that policy if you haven't already tonight. We can talk about it a little bit. And if you have any thoughts on it, if there's anything you want changed, we can certainly do that before we roll this out. We need to do a pretty aggressive, advertising solicitation process in order to find out who the oldest resident of Belchertown is. I think one of the sticky points that we've had on this policy is that we're requiring a 10-year residency requirement And some people have questioned if that's too long. Other people said 10 years is appropriate. And I think the residency requirement was a direct result of having senior living in Belchertown. People who move here for assisted living may become the oldest resident by default because they moved here and maybe have only been here a month or two. So how do we address that? And so that's why there was a residency requirement put in place. It doesn't have to stay at 10 years, but that's up to the board. So if we can get through this tonight, I hope that we can start looking at this for the fall and make an award after the new year.
So I just want to ask a clarifying question. So we talked about this 18 months ago, I remember. We voted on it. Then what? Like, why was it just
before the board?
Yeah, why is it back before us again?
It never got rolled out.
Okay.
That's why.
So you just want us just to double check on it
Double
before
check
you
it.
officially roll it out?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna roll it out. So.
Well, what is it?
I feel if you guys voted on this a couple, before I was on the board, why?
Yeah.
It's, you guys always went through it, I feel like I would back your policy.
One of the things that we talked about that I really, really liked, I think it was your idea, Lisa, was that obviously we don't actually give the cane to the person, but I think a pin, like a lapel pin, I thought that was a great idea.
Oh, yeah, that was nice.
And I don't know if we actually voted on that, but I did like that idea.
It has a certificate and a small keepsake, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a photo, and put a photo in the town hall.
I think it's just the recognition
It's a
component.
recognition.
Well, I think that having something
Yeah.
that they can wear, they, I know it was my idea, but I like that idea.
Yeah, no, I agree.
You love that when you're doing a parade or something.
For me personally, I'm firm on 10 years.
I don't have an opinion on that yet.
I don't have a strong opinion. Could someone appeal if they were at 9.5 years and they were the eldest person, or would no strong 10 years? Because that could happen. No.
I literally,
I'm going to ask a couple other questions while we mull that over. Okay. Since we did this before, I don't know if I have a lapse in memory or if it just simply doesn't make sense to me. What is the line, the subsequent discovery of an older resident or the relocation of an older person to the community shall not affect the validity of the honor or designation? Does that mean that if I'm the oldest person and then we discover somebody else is actually older, we don't recognize them?
Well, I think we still could recognize them, but it doesn't, we don't revoke the honor that we previously bestowed on the oldest resident. So we would have to work that out. I think that's just something we would have to look at. So this is a voluntary program. We don't go through census records. We don't knock on somebody's door and say you just won the clearinghouse. People have to be nominated. So when they're nominated, they're asked, do you want to participate? Do you even want to be recognized? And they say no, and somebody else younger could take the golden cane. So these are all things that we've been trying to work out, and we can certainly do that on the fly, as Jen said. Maybe some of these things we decide as we go. But the 10-year residency requirement has been an issue. People have questioned that. And that's,
Well, I'm just stuck on this point first before we get to the how long you have to live here for. But what were you going to say about that?
oh, no, I was looking again at the intention of the gold cane, because I'm like, why can't we just say you hit like 100 or whatever and you get an honor?
everyone
But I'm
gets
now
one?
reading the actual rationale behind. I don't know. I have a lot of thoughts about the cane. I had to hand it off a couple of times when I was chair.
well, this is why it didn't get rolled out, because there's always been
All right,
this-
well, what are your concerns?
What? No, I
Talk
don't
to
want
me.
to talk out loud about.
Well, what if we don't? All
No,
right.
I have no.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I just think my concern about this is, so if I'm in the know and I want to make sure that my relative gets this, but they're not actually the oldest resident in town. That's how we're gonna do it?
It would be the one to apply, you know? Then you would hand it off, so if we found someone older, I feel like that's where this line, like, you don't lose the honor, you get your golden pin, we're gonna take it away from you, but then you would transition to the next person if we found somebody who was older.
No, that's not what we do, evidently. If somebody is older that we find out, we don't give them that honor. We say, oh, too bad, we've designated this person to be the oldest member, even if it's not true.
Doesn't seem equitable, is that what you're saying?
No,
How
it
many
feels a
old,
little
how
funny.
many, eldest, I don't know.
I don't know, it
It's
just
a very
doesn't
strange,
sit
like-
well with me. And the other one that I, in reading this over the weekend, you must be able and willing to receive the honor in person through a family member, caregiver with legal authority. Are you missing a word? Because must be able and willing to receive the honor in person or through a family member? Okay, that makes more sense.
Yes, that,
All right.
and how,
Legal guardian.
yeah.
So we want to add
I
that.
mean, like, I'm trying to like encapsulate like what is the spirit of like the intention behind this bequeath of this honor. You're the oldest living resident in Belchertown, right? Like that, right? That's the spirit
Yeah.
of this entire thing. But I hear what you're saying. If you have no idea that this program exists and you're new to town or whatever, like you may have no knowledge.
But if you've been here for 10 years,
If you've been here for 10 years or a lifetime and
A
you
lifetime.
know, it's a different story. So I think I understand your concern and I get it. Also, like, I don't know.
Well, the other option is we disband the program. And we stop
Oh, well,
going.
that's just mean.
And, well, what we've been doing over the last few years, if the select board would indulge me for a minute, is we started going to birthday parties or acknowledging
Yeah.
residents that turn 100.
See, that I like.
And I had spent my whole life hoping I would hit 100 because I wanted a jar of Smuckers from Willard Scott. But he didn't make didn't make it. So
Right.
To make your
unfortunately,
timeline.
the jelly's out. But proclamation from the select board, I think is
Like, I like that idea. I like, you turn like 100 or something and like you get like some sort of recognition. Like you went to that birthday party at
Yeah, and
Christopher
it was
Heights and it's very
wonderful.
sweet and it's very, because we called it the death game.
It's
That's what my kids called it.
So I feel like being from
It was
town,
terrible.
This is like a tradition in Belchertown.
I
Like,
know.
I don't want the tradition to go away. Like, I'm a resident, I would hope to get this changed. I'm old. I'm just saying.
and not
like,
only that, I will tell you, my neighbor was Charlie Howard.
Yeah.
He was, without a doubt, the oldest
Yeah.
resident in Belchertown, and he yelled to me from his porch when he got the award.
Yeah.
It means something.
Yeah.
It meant something to him. So, and that's why I'm leaning towards the 10 years, because Charlie was born in Belchertown. He's
Right,
been here his
yeah.
entire life.
Yeah.
He knew he was the oldest in Belchertown.
Right.
I like tradition.
I mean,
Tradition.
Yeah.
I guess one answer would be, we would have to confirm that they're the oldest resident through our census records, and if they're not, then the golden cane goes unawarded. Maybe that's the better answer.
Well, it's more equitable.
And we can certainly add that into the policy, that it must be confirmed to
Yeah.
the best of our ability.
What if instead of doing nomination, we went by the census?
I thought that's what he was saying.
And that would certainly encourage people, I think, because I know sometimes we have people who don't respond to the census. Maybe that would encourage a little uptick. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know, but it doesn't matter. But maybe that's the way to do it.
I thought that's what you were saying, that we,
Well, we could, and I need to talk to the town clerk about this, but we could attempt to confirm who the oldest citizen is, but would we still?
But
run
still
the
do a nomination?
process? So I can report back in a few weeks,
Okay.
if this is the only sticky point.
well, yeah, I think so.
Kick the cane down the road again.
Oh my gosh.
Only just for like 2 weeks. And I don't know how I feel about the 10 years. I think you have to be here at least 5, but it does feel, I don't know. Who's inside Belchertown, who's outside Belchertown, even if they live here,
I don't remember how we agreed on 10 to begin with. I don't remember that conversation and how it unfolded.
I think it was because the idea was, what if somebody had moved in recently to live with a family member but was not familiar with Belchertown? And so the idea was to say, well, let's give them some longevity in town.
Yeah.
I still like the little pins too, though.
The what?
The little pins also.
Yeah, I like the pins too.
Maybe that's a different program altogether.
That would be
Like
nice when
the
they turn
jelly
100.
Maybe it's 100.
When they turn 100, they get a
100-year
certificate and a
pin.
little pin.
Yeah. So I guess that you don't have to make a decision on the 10 years tonight. You
Yeah.
can think about it for 2 weeks. I can find out some information from the census.
That sounds good.
Thank you, Steve.
All right.
And wrap this up in
Okay.
2 weeks.
All right. Okay, D, posting of agenda.
So, yeah, I've been sitting behind this desk for 2.5 years now, and it's probably time that I get some feedback from the board on what you want to see with the agenda and how we organize the agenda, how it's posted. I know we've been working towards, some of the members want more of this information electronically, others still want paper copies, all of these things. If you don't have any questions, that's fine. If you have, requests and comments or suggestions on how we can make it better or smoother for you, I'd be happy to hear.
I hate to kill a tree, but I need this in paper. It's my process and how I'm effective at this. Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay.
You can kill trees.
Don't.
I won't hold it against you.
I have an issue with timing on when the board gets information for meetings to make decisions about. I know that just tonight, like an hour before the meeting, we got another attachment sent to us. So I could show it to you. I don't want to say names.
Is that
and
this, the
everything.
Myrick letter?
No, this was
An email.
yeah, an email in support of an earlier item. And
So that wasn't through my office then?
Yeah, it was.
yeah,
through
it
your
was.
office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
But
what?
it was a resident email?
Yeah.
Okay, so they just forwarded it over?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so all I'm suggesting is, look, the town clerk needs 3 days, 72 hours, just to post agendas. I'm asking for 24 hours. That after, once we hit the 24 hours till the meeting, that's a blackout period. Any information that the board needs to review has the opportunity to do it 24 hours in advance. I don't think that's a huge lift. I do think that will take time to socialize, and I do think that we will be punished for this by not having a piece of paper that we needed beforehand, at least once. I don't want to be. I just want the information 24 hours in advance.
I feel like it's going to be hard coming to a board meeting on a Monday and no one's in the office on a Sunday.
Yeah.
That's going to create a lot of chaos.
Then
Do you mean a business day?
one business day is what I'm asking for.
So by 6 o'clock on Friday night?
Yeah.
I was actually going to praise Abby, who I haven't met yet, because I've noticed that our packets have been coming a little earlier on Fridays, which I really appreciate. I find when they come late at the end of the day on Friday, I don't get them till Monday. But when they come at 2 o'clock, I actually might review it, which is really nice.
So those are 2.
Yeah.
If we can get
the
a
email
bunch.
that Melissa did send, the resident sent it at 3:51 and Melissa sent it right at 4 or something. So it's not, she's sending it as fast as she's getting it in a sense. So that's not a problem. I don't see that as a problem at all. she's sharing the information as fast as she's getting it, so it's not Steve's office fault. The residents.
I wasn't gonna mention any names.
I'm just saying, but I wanna make it clear
that we are, but.
she did the right thing. I'm just saying, like, that's not her fault. I wanna make that clear. She didn't do anything wrong.
Did I say anything was anybody's fault?
It sounded like she sent it late, but she didn't send anything, right? The resident sent it at 3:51 p.m. and the secretary sent it right after she probably opened it and sent it off to us, so I think that's appropriate. If that makes sense. It sounded like you were saying that was wrong by her.
All I'm saying is, anything that the board needs to look at, I would like for this board, and hopefully future boards, to get 24 hours advanced by 6 o'clock on Friday, right? One business day before.
Sure. And in all fairness, I should be clear. I meant the packet. I like to get the packet before the close of the business day on Friday, if possible.
That's yeah, I'm saying those are two different suggestions.
You do get the packet before close of business on Friday, don't you?
Yes, but sometimes it comes at like 4.
Yeah. And I was just saying, I was just impressed that Appy's been getting it a little sooner, which has benefited me personally. But I don't know if everyone else feels as strongly about that as I do.
You know, for me personally, it doesn't matter because I prep on Sundays. So whatever you guys decide. I guess I would just want to know, like, what if it was an emergency, like something really super important? That's okay, right?
Yeah.
Well, I would like to make it a policy that that's at the discretion of the chair. And the reason for that is, I admire Terry, because it doesn't matter who you are. If you don't meet that deadline, your meeting doesn't go up. I'm not asking for 72 hours. I'm asking that the board thoughtfully review. Like, I'm glad that you do that on Sunday. I'm not just thinking about this chemistry of this group. I'm thinking about future boards, that they're given enough time to thoughtfully review what's going to be discussed at these meetings, rather than trying to cram it in 20 minutes before you're at the meeting.
Yeah.
There are those who work full-time. I don't think it is fair to ask people if they want to have a weekend, that they can't have a weekend because we didn't get this, in until, Monday.
Yeah, and to your point.
So it's really about a courtesy.
Right. When I walk in and there's something sitting on my desk here that I haven't had a chance to read, that does frustrate me, because then I feel like I'm missing something.
That's literally what I'm talking about. I'm saying that on Monday, if it's not in by Friday, we don't see it until the following meeting.
Okay. But what if it's for the meeting? What if we need it for the meeting?
Can I just clarify, that document that was left today was not for any particular meeting, it's a general information on health insurance and bargaining unit rights. So that has nothing to do with it. I think there's two different things that we run into. One is in-house documents coming from departments. I have a lot of control over that to get them by the end of the day Friday, so the packet can be mailed out. Outside sources is where we run into trouble. Last minute emails from a resident that has a concern over something, or a consultant or town council. That's where I would get a little concerned, because what if town council opines on something and we have a blackout period? That's where it would get tricky. And you're very approachable as a chair, so you could have that discretion, but there needs to be some flexibility in those situations where if we have to run in at the meeting and say, it came in late, sorry.
And while I agree, I even think council, if they knew they had to have it in 24 hours in advance, or it's not going to be heard at the meeting, would get it together so that we have 24 hours to look at it. And that's why I'm looking at, it can be at the discretion of the chair, not because I'm sitting in that seat right now. I'm thinking about anybody else who's sitting in this seat. I'm thinking about putting together a policy that allows new people who are just coming on board, maybe don't know anything about what it's like being in one of these seats, to have the courtesy of 24 hours advance. And for any of us that are working or are on vacation, whatever it is, that, you know, we get a minute to breathe. You know, it doesn't affect me personally, it really doesn't. But I do think because we have no policy, it does need to be looked at. And that we are treated with the respect we should have to thoughtfully review whatever comes before us. That's it.
I have another thing.
Is it different than this one?
It's different than
Oh,
this one. I'd love to see like a parking lot section of things that we forget about after like the gold cane policy.
That's a very good idea.
Like things that we agree to delay for whatever reason so that we can keep it in our minds so a couple months don't go by and then we're like, oh, didn't we talk about this?
Yeah.
And then we lose the thread.
Could I make it an additional suggestion to your suggestion? That we have a parking lot and that when it goes into the parking lot, it's dated.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that we know how long it's been in the parking lot. And then Whitney, I want to make sure I heard a compliment, but I didn't know if it was just a compliment or are you asking that the packet.
Well, because I don't handle the operations, I don't understand how much time they need. So I would hate to request it must be done before the close of the business. It was a compliment, and I appreciated it, and I've thought about requesting before, is it possible to have it done earlier in the day? But if you need all that time up till the nth hour, the 11th hour.
No, I just wanted to make sure it was clear. So if it's a compliment, that's fine.
Mm-hmm. I was very pleasantly surprised this past Friday. I was like, oh, look, it's 2:30 and I have it. How great.
We have been making an effort to try to get it out
Yeah,
there.
thank you. Yeah.
But that's not a recommendation.
Though I like it.
And, you know, larger documents, we're trying to email ahead of time. Oftentimes, I will send those out, so you'll have them, and then they're also included in the packet, because I know sometimes we get 20, 30-page documents, and it takes a while to read them.
Sure, yeah, that's
So
true.
I have been trying to do that as well to help you with the time crunch.
Okay.
May I ask a question? Since this topic was brought up, is there anything, Steve, that your office would prefer to not do at the risk of saying, is there anything that you're like, boy, this is such a time suck and maybe we don't consider it a value add?
I'm gonna have to think about that a little more. I think we've really brought this down to a, you know, the bare minimum.
That's good.
I don't know if there's really much more we could do.
Okay.
On that end of
Yeah.
things, you know, trying to make it as efficient as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And that's always an ongoing thing. If we see something that we think would help, we would certainly bring it to your attention,
Mm.
you know. So, I mean, all in all, I think we've had a good working relationship with the board.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, if you review your progress over the long term, I think we've made a lot of progress, and, you know, certainly we still have a lot to do. It's coming along, so.
I mean, these are small. You know, there isn't a big laundry list here, and I think that speaks volumes to your point. You know that you know it's a well-run machine, if I can put it that way. But like any machine, you know, there could be a tweak or two.
I have to bring up the elephant in the room.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm so curious.
Where are our pictures? Like,
Oh, it's
I
true.
did know
where's my thing for each
Yeah.
I'm
holiday?
gonna have to just say I was on vacation last week.
All
It could have been a picture of Steve on vacation. That would have been a great picture.
Does it,
Well, yeah, I can.
If I can just share one thing that I do for everybody here, just, and I know you've gotten the benefit of this. I have logged every single motion that we have made since I've been on the board onto a spreadsheet. So if we do ever need to go back and think, oh, well, what did we do with this? I literally have a spreadsheet.
Oh my gosh.
That is probably, I want to say it's almost 400 lines long. Every week I go and I just log all of our motions and how we voted and
Wow.
everything and the date. So if you ever need to know something, remember I found you an agenda from
it's
like
good to have.
2 years ago.
Yes,
Yeah.
It's good to have.
Yeah.
Oh. Can we get the shared drive with all of these documents set up we can all have access to? I asked somebody in that office a couple years back if we could do that, because and then we would have the packet and the mail and we could refer back to it and we could have this beautiful spreadsheet and we'd be like, where is this thing that I need?
So we, that was part of the reason why we implemented the laptops.
Right.
We went to Microsoft 365 recently, so there's been some changes that are ongoing. That is a goal that we've been
Great.
working towards.
Would love that.
So, do we have to vote on any of these?
Well, I'm not clear where we landed on the blackout period. Otherwise, I don't think there was anything substantial. So what's the flavor of the board on what we're doing with that? Do our best, or do you want to make a formal declaration?
I think we do I guess my concern is we do our best, but if that piece of paper that doesn't come to in front of us and we have to take a vote on something, and that could be a deciding vote, I would be concerned if I voted the wrong way without that piece of paper. If we held back, then we would have to first table vote. I'd just be concerned. We'd have to table the vote. I wouldn't be able to vote if we're missing a key element of it. Something that came in late.
And that's happened before. That we've had something on the desk we need.
That's my only concern.
5 o'clock on Friday? I mean, that's technically less than 24 business hours. Right? No. Less than one business day. That would be 6:30.
Well, yeah, because we meet at 6:30.
I'm fine with that. I just don't want things coming in the same day. Where are you on?
I multitask all the time, so
It's
it
true.
doesn't bother me, but I understand the frustration. So it's just my own personal.
Okay. All right, we're a timid board tonight. Do I hear a motion on this?
I don't feel strongly enough to make a motion
Yeah, me
personally.
neither. How did this
Okay.
get on the agenda?
I put it on the agenda.
Okay.
And I put it on there to protect the board.
Okay.
Not just this board, but future boards. So I'm hearing a lot of, I'm okay.
Yep.
But I'm thinking about the town, I'm thinking about people who sit in this seat. And I want to make sure that people who work, who also want to serve in this capacity, are not feeling like they'd be able to do the job because they're simply not able to give their time on the weekends or not able to look at the piece of paper the day of the meeting and make bad decisions because they didn't have that time. But if you're all right with that, I don't hearing anything, so I withdraw.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks for having the conversation.
All right. 6E. Sign policy.
I kept looking at this thinking it was spam.
No, this is, John asked this to be included.
So what I can give it backstory on it. So I know Whitney came up with a great idea. Like it'd be nice to see like how you're gonna put the signs up, what are you gonna do, how long you're gonna put it for. So it was like one sentence. So I had in the back of your packet, I have worked with Kate, who did a great job and made like a little form to fill out so we could. So we just gotta approve this form, decide if we like the form, add something to the form. So we know, like, if someone's posting a sign, like, what is everything, all the requirements to post a sign? I thought that was a great idea, so I just
I
kind of
see it now.
So it's kind of,
Yeah, that makes sense.
it was
It
like a
does make
one-stop shop, so
sense.
this is like what the resident can fill out or anybody else can fill out. saying what I'm supposed to sign here, this is how many signs I have, locations is gonna be, when I'm gonna pick it up, where I'm gonna, all that stuff. I mean, if there's something else we need to add to it, I just like to get the form in action to kind of see how it goes. I'm not sure if Steve saw it yet, I know you're on vacation, so.
Yeah, I looked at it today.
Did we finalize the policy on what we're going to allow?
I think we did.
Thought we were just gonna stick to the town
I
bylaw.
thought we were sticking to the
Yes,
bylaw
right.
Yeah.
Which is no,
without select board approval. No
Okay.
signs on town property without select board approval.
okay.
We've run into there's been a lot of requests that have come in since we implemented that, which is a good thing, because I think people were just taking a lot of liberties.
Yeah.
The meeting schedule has been problematic for, I think, one organization where they missed the deadline.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, most had done okay with it. And that's just something that I think over time will correct itself. People will get used to it. I don't know if there's a way to empower the chair in case there's a late request, at least to get us through this learning curve. That would be one suggestion I would have for tonight. And obviously having this forum is a nice thing because it makes it simple, makes it understandable. I know last week there was questions, last meeting there was some questions about the fair committee request. There's some signs that already got up. Those signs were on private property, but they just confused matters because there was questions about whether or not they were waiting for approval. So having this forum would certainly help with that. But the bottom line is the fair committee said, they were gonna start aggressively advertising 2 weeks beforehand. That's what they plan on doing. So.
Great.
Thanks.
I think this
I think
is
it's a great
great.
idea.
It's great.
Yeah, thanks for
It was
doing
just
that.
something to throw out there, and I think it's good for residents to be able to just.
Yeah,
fill- even,
absolutely.
Like, not just the residents, but like committee, fair committee can fill this
Yeah,
out.
absolutely.
And it's
Yeah.
a one-stop shop for everyone, so I was just looking for input, corrections, changes, it might be a work in progress, we might have to change something, we might have to think of something. but-
Is this gonna be in conjunction with the main sandwich board? That,
The common,
that Finnerty?
Well, that's a separate request, and that,
Okay.
yeah.
that doesn't come to the board.
Yeah, I know, that's why I'm asking.
But what I'm wondering is, can we put out a communication that says, hi, this is here now, and, where it's found, and
Yeah,
so
we can
that,
follow up with previous communications about the strict adherence to the zoning.
so do we want to adopt this?
It's, yeah, it's, I mean,
May I ask one question? Should we include text or images to be printed on the sign? There you go. That's what I was looking for. Is that going to say kind of as closely as possible what the sign will say? Just in case it's
yeah.
something. I can't imagine anyone doing anything inappropriate, but just in case, it's like, oh geez, we signed off on that.
Okay.
So before we do that, I'm just looking at this section on our agenda where there's some policy considerations. Is that a separate conversation, or is that what we want to be talking about before we do this?
Well, it's part and parcel. I mean, we can switch over and talk about that now if you want. Steve, do you want to go through it?
And again, I don't know if it's necessary at this point to have a policy unless the board wants one. I had thrown just a few thoughts together. One is that, signs on town property must be in partnership or sponsored by a town entity. We should probably include nonprofits in there, Lions Club, Knights of Columbus, those kinds of things. Signs placed on the common should only be allowed in certain locations.
Here it
That's up to the board. How many signs we should allow on the town common. Time frame on when they can be posted. Right now, most of the people want to post them two weeks in advance, because sometimes it's, like we saw with the community band, they wanted to put a sign up
The whole
there
summer.
for 4 weeks. Obviously, all the signs have to conform to the zoning. And, I always want to make sure that the board has a safety net that if somebody comes in with something that doesn't meet the policy, that they can say yes to that. So the last bullet item was just, you know, any sign not conforming to the policy would still be considered, you know, under certain circumstances. So I don't know if we want to just table this for now and see where this goes in the future, or if we want to try to adopt these or anything else you can come up with. You know, certainly it's up for discussion. Like, again, I think having a forum is important for tonight.
Yeah.
And I would like to have some, again, a safety net for the people who aren't aware of the strict policy.
Yeah.
To have an ability to be approved, and I would just suggest that the chair have that authority delegated. So if somebody comes in late and says, oh my God, I didn't know about this, and I have an event planning, you know, we can at least get through that. You know, for the most part, we see the same organizations every year.
Sure.
So they're gonna learn through time, you know, as the events.
Didn't you make a recommendation about location on the common already?
Yeah, we talked about the end near the intersection.
Yeah.
Some people like it in the middle, you know, across from the post office. Other people want to be on the north end of the common, or both. To get
Well, are
traffic
you
going
okay
in
with
both
that?
directions.
Is more the question. I thought
Yeah,
you
I'm
wanted
okay
it
with that.
only
Yeah.
at that.
I'm
No,
okay
you're
with
okay
it,
with
yeah, you know, both ends in the middle. You know, those are the kinds of things. I mean, oftentimes they're trying to catch traffic going in different directions, so they want to have a sign on each end of the common. We have a sandwich board in the middle of the common, so when people are looking for a place to place a sign, we usually tell them to put it with the sandwich board, so we're not spreading things out too much. It helps with the DPW with mowing. But I'm okay with those locations.
All right.
Okay.
And were you okay with more than one sign? I thought we talked about this. That's why I'm like,
Well, I think as we've seen the requests come in,
yeah.
my opinions are changing a little bit, you know.
Okay. We're all loud.
Yeah, yeah,
So are you okay with that?
yeah,
So it can be more than one sign?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Is everybody okay with that? Yeah. So, I don't know if there's any policy changes then. Yeah.
Like I said, I think tonight, the most important thing is we address
Yeah.
two issues. And if we need to
I do
revisit
think
this,
we
if we have problems,
We
we can.
should vote on the form though.
Do we need a motion to have the chair approve just in time signage provision?
I
Go
think
ahead,
that's
make a
what I'm
motion.
saying.
So I make a motion that we allow the chair to approve just last minute sign that can't meet our meeting times. Timeline.
Oh, you're a second?
A second.
What's
I
that?
don't support that. Not because I don't want the chair to make a decision, but because if you don't follow the rules and meet the deadline, then I'm sorry. I don't know. I mean, that's why we put rules in place, so people can follow them.
I think my concern is, we've publicized this in the newspaper, we've put it on Facebook, it's on our website, but people, not everybody is aware of it yet. So, I don't want people to fall through the cracks because they weren't aware, because that brings up another criticism, well, you didn't tell us, you know.
Take my motion back and I'll
Know
say-
the bylaws of your town.
So I'm gonna retract my motion, I'll make a motion for the chair for the next 6 months be allowed to approve just in time signs that can't meet the timeline of the bylaws to come from the committee, the select board.
Second.
No? All right.
She's
all
allowed to
right.
feel
Well,
the way
wait.
that she
So-
feels.
Okay.
I seconded it.
Yeah, okay. Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye.
You have to say all opposed.
All opposed?
No.
Okay.
Any abstention?
Any abstentions? Okay, so, 4-1.
Okay, now we need a vote on the form.
Okay, do I hear a motion?
I make a motion that we adopt the form as presented, developed with the communications manager and select member John Ritter.
Okay, now we're just getting silly. All right. And for what?
To use on the website.
For, what is it?
For signage, temporary signage.
Request for temporary sign placement. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Further discussion?
No, that's okay. Sorry.
All right. Okay, all in
Thank
favor?
you.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, 5-0. Okay. Town managers report.
Sure, so I endorsed warrants as usual. I attended the school committee meeting, we already spoke about that. I've been attending EDIC meetings, there's a lot going on, there's a meeting tomorrow. Tune in, there's gonna be a presentation from the real estate broker about activities. We are beginning discussions with Mass Development on renewal of the MOA. So there's a lot going on. EDIC previously agreed to meet twice a month through the next few months to get through everything that they have going on.
So if the public wants to attend that, when is that going to happen?
Tomorrow at 6.
Here.
It'll be in person here in this room, and it also is on GoTo. So I would encourage everybody to start watching because it's going to be a pretty busy year. I've been meeting with department heads about goals and objectives. I have been meeting with department heads about budget transfers, and there has been some additional activity on that this week. We were able to secure $100,000 from the Board of Assessors overlay account that's been approved to be released back to the town.
That's great. Is this to cover the health insurance?
Yeah, we can transfer that in. We're also going to be looking at transferring some money from property and casualty insurance over to the health insurance, upwards to $100,000 there as well. So tomorrow, next Monday night, as part of that discussion, our tri-board meeting, we can talk about, does that come off the top, or are we gonna take that off the, we agreed to a certain percentage of stabilization, so is it gonna defray the stabilization or the cuts? I think those are the two questions. And when we talk about budget cuts or transfers, it's likely a cut in services. So stay tuned on that. The human services study that the Collins Center is working on, we should have a draft report by the end of this month to go over. That's progressing well. So I've been meeting with them. I did meet with a broker to talk about 6 and 8 Berkshire Ave, future plans with that, if we're gonna try to sell them. I've also been meeting with developers to gauge some interest in the Tadgell School building. I was able to obtain a draft AI policy from town council. I reviewed that, forwarded it to the communications committee. They're working on revisions to that now. I did attend a meeting with the town planner and the Pioneer Valley Planning Commission regarding the master plan matrix project. That is still ongoing. We got some information today that Doug's working through. Finance committee meeting on 8/21.
Can I ask a question about the town planner and PVPC? Can you talk a little bit about what you met about?
Oh, okay, so the master plan matrix. Is,
No, when you say PVPC, I'm assuming you're talking about the housing trust?
No.
Pioneer Valley Planning Commission, the master plan implementation.
Oh, I see,
matrix.
okay.
Yeah.
Forgive me,
So that's progressing. We have an Excel sheet now. They're working on how to make it interactive. And we're reviewing the information now for accuracy and those kinds of things. Where was I? Finance committee meeting. The engineering agreement for phase 2 of the Tadgell feasibility study has been endorsed and returned. So we're gonna have a kickoff meeting with that pretty soon. I'll keep you posted if anybody wants to attend. So phase 1 was an initial building conditions assessment. Phase 2 is to sort of a discovery on best and possible reuse. And then from there, we'll do a schematic design and final cost estimates for the building. So that project should be wrapped up by the end of the calendar year.
That's
Great.
There's been a lot of activity with the opioid settlement agreement, and I've been working with, signing different documents and reviewing a lot of material on that. So if the board recalls, a few meetings ago, you approved the Purdue amendment, and now I'm working on one of them, so that might be back in front of you at some point.
Is that, can the opioid settlement, folks come and talk about what their plans are?
Oh, our committee?
Yeah.
Not recently, but they're,
Okay.
I'm assuming that they usually try to come in for an update. I think the last time they were here, they requested funding for,
There
the
were two
school resource.
projects,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know, but
Yeah.
it's September now, so.
Honest beginnings.
And honest beginnings, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, I can talk to them and see if they want to
Just-
come in. for
we're
an update at
interested.
some point. Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay. And then I was on vacation all last week and, I have a whole new perspective, so I'm feeling pretty good.
That's nice.
Welcome back, we missed
Yeah.
you. And next meetings.
So the next meeting is the tri-board meeting on the 8th. We're going to discuss the health insurance cost impacts.
And where will that be held?
That is in this room or the auditorium? We scheduled it for the auditorium.
This
The
auditorium.
auditorium.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's the next meeting, and then the following night, the board just agreed to attend the school committee meeting on the 9th. That's in the Chestnut Hill Community School Library at 6 o'clock. And then,
And the tri-board's at 6:30, right?
correct, yeah. So those are the next two meetings, and then the mid-September meeting, right now, I don't have any report on that, nothing that stands out, mostly a routine business. So, we've had, certainly a good run of tri-board meetings, so, I know we agreed to meet with all committees quarterly, so we're getting our quarters in early.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
No, that's great. Thank you so much. Anybody have questions about it?
I know we have mentioned that at some point we might want the EDIC to come to one of these meetings, but should we just continue to attend their meetings in the interim?
That was mentioned in EDIC, Steve brought that up in EDIC to have them come, so they're supposed to look at their agenda,
Okay.
and they're supposed to come in to our board at some point, once they figure out time.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just elected a new chair.
Oh, okay.
I don't think they had a vice chair picked out yet. So they're still doing some internal reorganization.
Sure.
I know there was some vacations in there as well from some of the members, but it was discussed and we didn't get a real clear timeframe. So,
Is SR Realty going to be in person or remote when they present tomorrow?
that I don't know.
Great question.
My understanding is they were supposed to be in person, but I don't know that for sure.
And will they be in here or in the tiny
No,
room?
here.
They're
Oh,
gonna be
good,
in
good.
here, yeah.
Oh, so did Ag get moved to?
Yeah, we've rearranged meeting space for the time being because with everything going on with EDIC, they've been bringing in not only residents, but representatives from Mass Development, the Select Board, SR Realty will be here, so we figured the bigger meeting space would be better for them.
Yeah. Good.
Okay. Review of weekly mail. Does anybody have any mail they want to talk about? I'd like to bring up Dorothy Creswell and Dusty Miller, the letter supporting Amherst resolution in support of Constitution and democracy draft. We heard from them during open comment, and I'm wondering what the board thinks of their proclamation, what they want to do.
When's our next meeting? The 15th? We wanted it read for the 17th, is that?
One of Constitution Day.
What are you asking me?
They want it read in preparation
Yes.
for the 17th, and our
That's
next
right.
meeting is on the 15th, is that correct?
That's correct.
So,
Yes.
do we want to put it on the agenda? Is that the question on the table at the moment? Or do we just want to have a conversation about it? I don't know.
I'd like to put it on the agenda.
Wait, I'm sorry. Does the timing work out?
Yeah, because the 15th
Is our next meeting?
is our next meeting.
And they want it read on the 17th?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Where does it get read?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Well, I think you read it at the meeting, and it would be voted on, and then the chair would sign it. And then I'm assuming it would just get emailed back to the individuals requesting it. But they left copies here to be signed.
But we vote on if it gets read, right?
Well, we'd vote on the proclamation.
Me personally, I think we're opening up a can of worms.
I'm sorry.
We're opening up a can of worms. Like, what you do for one, you gotta do for the other, so it's like,
Mhm.
I feel, pass on it.
The two other towns they used as examples, they do not have the same type of governance that we have, correct? Amherst has a town council, and then Boston has a mayor, right?
That's true.
So I do feel like that also could be a little bit different of their purview of what they can choose to do.
I mean, we can't hide from the fact that
I agree.
there's some real danger coming to this community, regardless of left or right or politics. I mean, it's an egregious violation of the Constitution that's happening at our federal level. That's how I feel, so.
Nicole?
I wholeheartedly disagree, and this does not have my support at all.
Yeah.
No surprise.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's
this is tough.
important that as a board, we take on difficult topics. This is one of them. And make decisions about how this board takes what the citizens have asked us to consider and what our response would be for all residents, regardless if you're left or right. Because these things are going to come up. And I do think we have left it wide open where we stand. I happen to agree with this proclamation.
It's a personal opinion, and I don't understand why we're being forced to discuss it. And the comments that were made that this is not about left or right, this is an extremely polarizing document, in my opinion. And I'm not comfortable with it at all.
But this is why I'd like to put it on the agenda. Because regardless of where you are on the, in the political landscape, this board has not set a policy one way or another.
For what? Proclamations in general, or?
No, on where we stand with the federal government.
Do we have to? Why do we have to?
We have a commander-in-chief.
I'm a military member, and I follow my commander-in-chief no matter
Exactly.
who it was, Barack Obama, Joe Biden, George Bush,
This is virtue signaling. That's all
This-
this is, in my opinion. And I know that's not going to win me any fans tonight, but I don't support this. 100% down the line, I am against this completely. This is not what we're here to do.
And that's why I want to put it on the agenda.
That's
I think it's going to create
the division in this town more than.
more division than we need right now. We are coming off of an override of a new school. You know, there's so much going on. Why are we talking about this?
It was literally brought to the board. And because it was brought to the board, I pulled the letter because I believe this is an opportunity for us to speak as a board on what we believe is the role of a town select board as it relates to the federal government. I'd like to see us discuss this.
I don't think that'll be good for the town. I don't think this will be good politics for the town.
Well, I mean, you're the chair. You're allowed to put whatever you want
Well,
on the agenda.
Here's what I'm thinking. This is a perfect opportunity for us to set policy on what the board speaks to and doesn't speak to in terms of the role of federal government in a town municipality. Because this will not be the only proclamation or other action that could come before the board. And like it or not, the federal government has inserted itself into the lives of people in new and unprecedented ways. And whether you agree with it or disagree with it, we have not set policy on what this board will hear and won't hear.
So we should set a policy. We shouldn't be discussing this.
Excuse
We
me?
should have a policy first.
Do you think?
And we shouldn't bring this up. We should have the policy first before we bring this up.
What I'm suggesting is we put it on the agenda and talk
Why would we talk about this if we don't have a policy?
about it. Excuse me?
If we don't have the policy should come first.
What do you want to talk about? Do you want to talk about putting a policy in place, or do you want to talk about this particular request for a proclamation?
That's up to the board.
I'm fine with the policy.
Excuse me?
I'm fine to talk about a policy.
Here's the thing with that though, John. I mean, we do we've done several proclamations since you and I have come on. We've done several, and all for wonderful things. And I don't want to see those things get jeopardized with a policy. I want to see us stay out of this. Just because a resident comes to you asking for something does not mean that it has to be granted. I mean, that's why we're up here on this board. All of our different opinions, we all come together. We make the decision.
And honestly, I think it's that diversity of opinion that makes this board rich.
I just think we should say apolitical. This is opening up a door to what we do for one is not what we're doing for the other. So
And you just
we
set
just stay away
policy.
from
You just set policy.
it. We should stay away from this.
I mean, honestly, I get, we are going to be facing challenges, unprecedented challenges at the local level that we haven't felt before because of what's happening at the federal level. So,
What do you mean? Can you give an example of what we're going to be facing?
you know, if ICE comes and starts pulling kids out of the school system because they're undocumented or they didn't make their hearing, or if, you know, if the federal government comes in and says, we are going to run your police and we're going to send the National Guard and they're going to be posted all around town. I mean, it sounds extreme, but it's literally happening, and other big cities in the
Which
country right now.
Belchertown is not a big city.
Right, understood. This is a small thing that affects every one of us, whether or not we want to look at it or not. That's my opinion on it. It's a scary time, you know.
Well, I listened to Jim Barry's story, you know.
Yeah.
Did that one person make a difference? And I would posit he did.
And I counteract that as a veteran who served in Afghanistan. I find that hateful that someone did that. Why sat there and watched men and women die for our country overseas, which is a horrible thing.
Right.
To defend our freedom and our democracy.
Yes.
And I'll do it again today.
And I have family members that did it, and one who died, and they would do it again as well. You know, I think we all have a stake in the outcome of this country. And for us to shy away from having a discussion on what's going on in our country right now is a missed opportunity. And more than that. But I'll start with that. Whitney, you've been
Exceedingly quiet. I find this very challenging. I also read this for the first time just now because I do think that this was the letter that we got in our inbox an hour before the meeting. So I didn't feel prepared to comment, and I'm still reading it very quickly. I feel that myself as a person and a voter is in some ways separate as my role on select board, and that's something I'm grappling with. I don't know if those two identities would respond the same way with this. So I have to think about that a little bit more before I signed anything. So if we'd like to talk about it next meeting, that'd be fine with me. I think we've probably talked about it a little too long tonight for incoming mail, personally.
How do you feel?
No, I think I've made my position clear.
So, do you want this on the agenda?
I mean, yeah, it's a hard topic to talk about, but I think we should talk about it, so.
We're clearly going to be divided as a board, and I hear John and Nicole's point too that this town has already gone through so much.
And let's not forget, Belchertown is primarily Democratic. I feel threatened by this. I feel like you're putting me on blast to the entire town that I'm a registered Republican. I come in here, I work my ass off in this position. And basically what you're saying, and I'm not yelling at you, but basically what you're saying to me is, Nicole, I want you to come in and I want you to argue how pro-Trump you are. And that pisses me off because I put my head down, I work super hard. The hours that we put in for this town are huge. And I think a lot of people don't understand it. Just because I'm a Republican and I support my president doesn't mean I'm a bad person. And it doesn't mean that I'm allowed to have my personal opinions. And this is an attack. This is just, these people are asking us, come on guys, duke it out. So that, because we know this town is primarily Democratic and liberal, and we want to see you guys duke it out. Let's put our head down and work on the things that matter. What we, you know, the health insurance, the school situation, the things that we really can impact for the better. And I'm sorry, I'm not yelling at you, but I feel threatened by this.
I understand.
I have my opinions, and I prefer as a person to keep them to myself. I don't walk around standing on the common saying, "Go Trump." I don't do that.
Right.
I'm bringing this up because I do think we need to set policy around these kinds of requests. Precisely because it is so divisive. And if we are clear about what our role is and what we will and can't respond to. I think that might go a long way to right-sizing people's feelings about what we as a town believe in. This is about democracy. And regardless if this was pro-Trump or not pro-Trump, I would be having the same conversation. I happen to agree with this. That's my personal views. I am very afraid for this country. But those feelings, including the erasure of rainbow lines that just happened yesterday in St. Petersburg, as if I don't exist, I find incredibly troubling. But having said that, I wholeheartedly support your opinion and any Trump supporter in this town. I would fight for their right to have that opinion. Just as I would fight for the right of these requesters to have this before the board. We have another 3.5 years. I think it's important that the board develop a policy around these kinds of requests. Putting all our personal politics aside, what is the role of the Belchertown Select Board as it relates to requests of this nature, regardless of where you are on the political spectrum?
Well, what does that mean of this nature? Because when Cliff McCarthy came in and wanted to do the proclamation on, what was his name? I forget.
Lafayette?
Lafayette coming to Belchertown. That was an amazing thing.
Right.
I thought that was great. Like, where are we drawing our lines?
Mm-hmm.
You know, because we don't want to set such a strict policy that something good that comes in, we have to shoot down because something so divisive is causing that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm asking for your advisement. I know I can put this on the agenda.
I would advise you to please not put it on the agenda.
I agree.
But I also would encourage people in town to continue to come in and use public comment. I appreciate it. Although I disagreed with what was said tonight in public comment, I appreciated them coming in and speaking their minds. I don't want to see, that's, you know, but now it comes to us, and I think, as John said, we're opening that can of worms, and then I'm afraid we're going to start really denying further proclamations that are not so divisive.
Okay.
My only other comment too is, and again, I just read it quickly, but you know, is this something, has this group considered a petition and asking the town to sign it? Because we are only 5 people, but there are so many other people in town who may choose to sign it, and maybe that would even be more powerful than getting us to be in a position where we're infighting, when they can instead have a more positive force with people who do want to stand behind it. And maybe I would choose to sign that. I am uncomfortable asking this board that I know is going to cause us strife when we work so hard to work together. And I personally don't want to do that. I'm willing to sign it as an individual person, but I don't want to attribute it to my position as select board because I don't want to do that to my colleagues.
And let's not forget, we all have varying political,
Yep.
but we get along in my opinion, amazingly.
Incredible.
We respect each other,
Mm-hmm.
and it works. And I think if anything, we should be an example,
Mm-hmm.
you know, to the community. And I think this is just, it's just asking us to start the infighting.
Yeah.
And I just don't want to do that because I respect you guys so much.
Yeah, we're united.
Yeah.
I think the majority has spoken here.
I think so too. And I think this was a good conversation. So I will not put it on the agenda, but I do think it's important that the community hear what each of us have to say on the topic. I like your idea, Whitney, of being able to sign something and having that go around town. I stand my opinion that it is the diversity of our personal viewpoints that help us to create the best decisions for this town. And I concur with you that I think it's great that they came and spoke to us. So we will not set a policy on this. And we encourage anyone who wants to come and speak during open comment to please do so. Okay?
Thank you.
I appreciate the openness, I guess, of everybody. I just want to say that. I think it was a great, I want to say it was good.
Mm-hmm.
I think we were able to speak appropriately and we always respect each other, and I think that's how it should be done.
You may not get reelected after this one.
No, it's important to do this.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, individual board member reports. Whitney.
Excuse me if I come out of my emotional whirlwind that we've just gone through. I attended the school committee meeting on 8/19 virtually, which we just spoke about in this meeting. A giant tag sale on August 23rd, and got a fish stand we're very excited about. The Amherst Area Chamber of Commerce community breakfast at UMass was on 8/26. It's probably on Jen's notes also. It was a fantastic event. I was really glad to be able to go there. We heard some exciting initiatives coming out of UMass, and Lisa Stahl, our cultural district manager, was with us, and she proudly and bravely went up to the chancellor of UMass and invited him to come to Belchertown. He wrote her back the same day, so I was really proud of her. And then that's really it.
Okay, thanks. John?
The 19th, I attended the school committee meeting in person with the town manager, and Whitney was online for about Cold Spring. We talked about that. The 20th of August, I gave EDIC. There was 3 of us present, so we couldn't really speak. Town manager was here too. 4 of us were there, actually. Not 3 of us, 4 of us, sorry. 25 August, I attended the Board of Health. I wrote up the water well issues, see if they can start tracking some of those members.
Oh, neat.
And
Good idea.
just to see where we are as a town.
And where are we?
They haven't really tracked it. There was data saying the resident, they couldn't, so she's going to try to pull some numbers together to say 10 wells are affected out of 50. So she's going to try to get some of that data. And they talk about the insects and the EEE and all that stuff coming around town. So just the concern of the residents. So they're on top of that stuff too.
There was a thing about the moths.
Lantern flies.
Oh, no. Well, is that the same one as I've seen?
Oh, there's the lantern flies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Board of Health is on that. They're just watching.
Are they in Belchertown?
The lantern flies?
Sure,
Yeah.
they're here,
I don't
they're
know.
right next door in a sense. So
Yeah.
I saw one in Springfield.
I attended the fair committee on 25 August. There was a representative from the police and fire there. They're finalizing the plans for 19th through 21 September.
Great.
So they're talking about road closures and that stuff, so be aware of all that stuff coming up. We have the incident command unit coming in, EMTs will be on staff, so there's going to be a lot of intertwining with the town government on there, DPW, everybody. Don't forget, it's not really fun about a town, it's all put on by collections and donations, so it's a free fair. It's one of the oldest free fairs in the country, so the residents, the more we give back, the better the fair can be for everybody. It's open to everybody, handicap, everybody, ADA compliance. I think they still run some of the rides early on before all the kids, so if you have a disabled child or something, make sure you get there early on Friday. 25 August, I was going to do communication committee at the same time, but that got canceled because I didn't have a quorum. So 25th August I was busy, I was in the building. 26th August I went to Board of Assessors, that's when they voted to do the overlay account of $100,000 and move it from that account over to the town to help with some of the funding crisis we're going through a little bit with the financial health insurance stuff. They're talking about rates for next year too, so we haven't figured out that stuff. That'll be long negotiations. The biggest thing I got from that is, it's probably more for Steve, but they only have two members still. They still haven't filled out their seat. It's an appointment, but I don't know what we can do to, because if there's ever a vote, they can't, there's not a third member to overturn that vote. They vote 1-1, so something to think about.
It's
how we
the
can help them.
assessors. So assessors. They don't receive a stipend or anything, do they?
No, they do.
They do.
They receive $1,000 a year. And we've been doing some outreach, trying to find people. That's an elected position.
Right.
Nobody ran this year. We had some write-ins, but there was a tie, and we ended up having to throw everything out. So we're looking for somebody that wants to volunteer to be appointed. When that happens, we're going to have to hold a joint meeting between the Board of Assessors and the Select Board to make an appointment until the next election.
Mm-hmm.
Have you reached out to your two write-ins just to see if they'd have an interest of filling in?
I believe the town clerk has. No, and we've been advertising in all the usual places.
What are the qualifications?
There's no qualifications. You just have to take a class after you get elected to talk about assessor rates. It's like a online course now. It used to be going in person, now it's all online. It's a couple-hour course.
Yeah.
Anybody could, there's really no qualification. Anybody can actually step
Is
into
there a
it.
test at the end?
I don't know if there's a test.
No. Saying that so that if
Both
there's
the
someone's
members
like a...
Yeah, both the elected members are willing to help. Even Jay
Okay.
is willing to help get everyone through it. So they're like proactive. They're actually want to help somebody get there. Both of them are older members. But
Yeah.
the problem is with that older member, there's no younger members to start taking over these roles. So that's something that comes. It's a lot of our committees are older members. So
Can
it's
we
tough.
do maybe a little article? I know I'm always like, put an article out, but I didn't really put that together. And I don't know, if I didn't, then there are probably lots of people that don't really know.
Yeah.
Or know that there's a stipend that might
Yeah.
might encourage.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's
Key committee, get something out in communication, Facebook, a lot of people. 26th August, I actually stopped at the Historical Commission. They're meeting right afterwards, so I went over and said hello to everyone. I haven't met them before. I just wanted to
I
drop
missed
in
that
and say
meeting.
hello.
That
It was I couldn't say I had to take off to the baseball, but they're a good group of people. I just want to say. 27th August, I was at McPherson Garden Community in person. If you haven't been up there, it's a very nice area. They had their meetings at the picnic table right there.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody brought brownies, so it's very
What?
involved. They're looking to put signs in the trail. Talking about sending their CPC grant.
Yes, they
Yeah.
got their CPC grant.
So if you go over there, the dahlias are looking good.
Mhm.
It's all handicap accessible. So I said that's a great place maybe to hold like a food truck Friday or event someday. And just trying to throw out there for town recognition. So we're finding they're working on these things. So 29 August, I met at Fully Field with a member of the rec department to talk about cleaning up some of the area. I've been in contact with Steve and Linda. There's some crap, like old, just boards that need to be thrown away and stuff like that.
Pile of pellets.
Pellet. I don't know what it is. So they're going to clean it all up, talking about maybe parking, and I'm working on some projects there, so hopefully I can, as they develop more, I'll develop into that. But I think it's almost a gateway to Belchertown, if that makes sense. I see that as a future opportunity that we could all benefit from. Everybody, sports, music, arts, dog park, whatever you want. It could, Fully Field is the place probably in the future. And then I'm here tonight. I'm not stopping.
Don't make me go next.
I know, he puts us to shame.
I mean,
you want to follow that act?
I mean, I went to the UMass breakfast. And yes, as Whitney mentioned, Lisa has initiated dialogue with the chancellor, who is very eager to come out here as soon as the school year has settled down.
Mm-hmm.
So that is pretty exciting. I also connected with the CIO, and he's interested in talking to the town about fiber optics.
CIO?
Yes, the Chief Information Officer.
Okay, yeah.
From UMass.
From UMass. So
That'd be so great.
some interesting things that came out of that breakfast. And also, as Steve mentioned, the implementation matrix, we're still chugging away at that. I did attend a bunch of meetings. I don't have to go through all the meetings that I went through because it's not quite as many as John's. Yeah, I'll stop there.
Thank you, Jen. Nicole?
So I was on the most amazing cruise ship in the world right now for a week.
Cool.
Representing
The
the board.
star
Did you go on
of
the big one?
seas.
Ooh.
However, August 20th, I attended the EDIC meeting. August 21st, I attended FinCom. Topic of discussion at FinCom was just the health insurance.
Sure.
And that's it.
Thank you,
I'll
Nicole.
get back at it.
And I went to a bunch of meetings too, but I'm not going to go into it. Questions from the press? Okay.
Nobody's on it.
There's 3 more.
I
Yeah.
know,
Everyone's
I
gone.
Everyone's gone.
Everyone
Okay.
bailed.
Okay, so we're going to move into executive session.
I move that we enter into executive session, not to return to open session, MGL Chapter 30A, Section 21, Subsection 6, to consider the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real estate, if the chair declares that an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the negotiating position of the public body, 6 and 8 Berkshire Ave in Tagil and Cold Spring School, in subsection 7 to comply with or act under the authority of any general or special law or federal grant and aid requirements, approval of executive session minutes.
Okay, roll call vote.
Yes.
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 Yes, but no one seconded it. I know.
Second.
Second.
Now you gotta
Third,
roll call
fourth.
again.
Yes.
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 That's it.
May I run to the restroom? Thank you.
Oh, I need to do a lap
Yes,
around the room.
Yeah.